A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
And now for our story. On Friday, we learned that Danny Stratford, driven almost crazy by the serious illness of his young wife, Phyllis, and blaming the circumstances which caused the complications on her brother Max's association with a gambling ring, threw all caution to the winds and notified Governor McDaniels of what is going on at the hotel in Sanford. The governor's raiding party was already on the way when Mary heard the news. Hurt and indignant as she is toward her husband, Max, Mary realized that he is still the man she loves, and that whether he is a lawbreaker or not, she must warn him. Max, unaware of the approaching raid, sits in his office at the hotel counting profits, still playing the role of a hoodlum in the hopes that the woman he loves will learn to forget him. As the phone rings, he has little to expect that on the other end of the line is that woman, making a last desperate attempt to save him from what she believes to be an unpardonable act.
450 plus 120. And today's the 6th. If we keep on going for a couple of weeks. And 2 weeks from now, I'll make it the 20th. And then let's see. Yeah, all right. I'm coming. Just keep your shirt on, will you? Hello.
Hello, Max?
Yeah, I'm talking.
Max, Mary.
Yeah, I know who it is. So, what?
Max, listen, I called to warn you. The governor's sending a party to raid the hotel.
What?
I tell you, they're coming to raid the hotel now, tonight. Get away, Max, please, right now while there's time. Don't let me get you there and tie you up with...
Hey, listen, what is this, anyhow? The place is barely open. Who tipped the governor off? Did Benson have to stick his nose in this after all?
No, it wasn't John. It was somebody else. Max, don't stop to argue. Get away, quick.
Hey, it wasn't you, was it, Mary?
You know it wasn't.
Well, I know you'd just soon see this place blown sky high.
Yes, I would, but I wouldn't give you away. Max, I just had to call you and warn you. You can tell Kane if you want to, but... Well, it's you that matters.
Since when?
Since always. Max, don't waste time talking. Please, get away and good luck.
I'll be...
Hey, listen, Looney, we just got word there's a special party flying down tonight. Holy mackerel, what's the matter with you? You look like you've seen a ghost.
I feel sort of like I've been feeling. Now, listen, Kenny, I got news. Bad news. Shut the door.
So, look, your sis work again?
No, she's coming along okay. Somebody tipped off the governor. He's sending a raiding party.
Where did you get that fairy?
Never mind how I got it.
When's it coming? What month?
Now, tonight. They're on the way right this minute.
That kind of soon, ain't it, Mac?
Yeah.
There's something phony here somewhere.
I just got tipped off. The word is we better scram, quick.
Who tipped you off? It had to be one of your Sanders pals or kinfolk. Who was it?
It was Mary.
How did she know?
Well, I don't know. Found it out somehow.
Yeah, she would. As much as she hates this dirty racket, she had to call you.
Well, she said that I could tell you, too, because you did so much for my sis. Oh, Mary's funny that way.
She's been aching to do it ever since we took over this place. You ain't in cahoots with her, are you, Mac?
Why are you...
Now, don't get sore. I'm only asking. You gotta admit the whole business looks mighty screwy, and it's been looking funnier every day. You've been too nice and cooperative to be real. Everything all laid out for us, as smooth as silk.
Why not? I'm in it with you.
I wonder. Willing to bust up with a swell gal like Mary just to get into this racket. Just our very best pal, wasn't you? Big boss has been suspicious right from the start.
Now, listen.
Now, you listen. I'm not finished yet. You weren't going to have Doc Benson taken for a ride, were you? You weren't even going to have him hurt.
I suppose you think that I knew Phyllis was going to have a baby.
Never mind about Phyllis. It's you and me we're worrying about now.
What do you want to know?
I want to know how this raiding party came about. I want to know whether it's a frame-up or whether you sold us out cold.
What did I want to do a thing like that for?
How do I know? But if you did...
If I did, would I be telling you about it? Giving you a chance to scram?
Well, I don't understand.
You don't have to understand, you big lunkhead. Just take my word for it and get going.
What are you going to do? Where are you going?
I'm staying right here.
Fat can't stay here with the cops in the way.
You said it.
But, Mac...
Now, listen, Cheney. Up until this past week, I wouldn't have raised my little finger to save you from the bulls or from anything else. I'd have figured that if you wanted to play around in this racket, you could play. If you got into hot water, well, you could take your medicine.
Well, it looks like you were right.
But since Phyllis has been sick, Well, that was all right, what you did. Phyllis is my sister. She's a good kid. If she gets well, she's on the cuff to you.
You can't let go.
You shut up and let me talk. I ain't a guy to forget. And Mary ain't the kind to forget either. She said that I could tell you, and she meant it.
You're just going soft, and you're getting me that way. Now, shut up, will you?
Yep, I'm going soft.
Well, that won't work in this racket, Tom. You gotta be rough. But what I can't get in my nut is...
What you can't figure out, Cheney, is women. You don't understand how Mary could be taking sides against me and still be tipping me off about the cops.
No, I don't get that.
Well, women are funny. And Mary... Well, that gal stuck to me through thick and thin. Sometimes I think she'll go on caring no matter what I do. She's just funny, that.
You know, I still think you're nuts about it yourself.
Well, maybe I am. But I'm bad medicine. She's got to get rid of me. You ought to be married to somebody she could respect and look up to.
Well, she won't, not while you're in the picture.
That's kind of what I think.
Why, you crazy mug, that's why you're doing all this, ain't it? But you thought it'd make her stop caring, that she'd give you up for good.
Well, what if I am? Ain't any of your business, is it?
Well, of all the dim-witted... Listen, guy, we gotta get going. The raiding party's on their way now.
Well, use this sideways, Kenny. Get out through the woods. Nobody will see you. You can pick up my car at the garage, just an overhaul.
Where are you gonna be?
Right here.
Here?
Yeah. Ready to greet the posse, the state police.
You can't stay here, you idiot.
Must I draw pictures for you?
Oh, you yellow crook, you low-livered, dirty...
What?
For 2 cents, I'd sell you full of leather.
Hey, what's that? Wait a minute.
Well, turn state's evidence, are you? Let me make a getaway and then save your own skin by telling them where I am.
I ain't turning state's evidence. Don't worry.
So what are you going to do? You can't fight it out with that mark.
I won't fight it up.
You can't let him get you, Max. With your old record, you get 20 years for this.
That's what I'm counting.
Well, you're nuts.
Maybe. If I'm in for 20 years, even Mary will get upset.
Oh. I get it.
You know, I ain't done much in my life to be proud of, Cheney. But at least I don't want to have to go on making her unhappy. And if I can clean up this gambling racket at the same time...
Max, you're not yourself, pal. You're unnerved.
Well, it won't hurt me to do one worthwhile act before I pass along critique. I figure this is it.
Cleaning up the racket, eh?
Yeah.
Well, maybe you're right.
You know, there was a story that I read once when I was a kid. Something about a man... Oh, let's see, his name was... Dickens wrote it. It was about a couple of fellas who loved the same girl during the French Revolution. You know, when they were killing off all the aristocrats.
Yeah.
Well, these two fellas looked so much alike you couldn't tell them apart. When the one that the girl loved and had married was going to be executed, when the other man came to the prison, he changed clothes with him and sent him away. And then he went on to the guillotine.
The guillotine?
Oh, yeah. That thing they chopped the heads off.
Yeah, the crazy patsy.
Oh, I don't know. He didn't think so. He said something about this. It's a far, far better thing I do than ever I've done before. Well, maybe I can say that.
You cleaned up the state gambling racket and saved your wife for a better man.
Uh-huh.
Well, that's something to think about while you're sitting in your cell for 20 years.
Well, maybe I won't be there 20 years.
Well, you try and get out. Oh, come on, Max. Get your things together and come along. We got to get out of this.
No, I'm not coming.
Well, you're crazy, Max. Where are those guns?
Yeah, they're right there, under the papers.
Oh, I got it. I don't suppose we'd have a chance of concealing the equipment. Now, gee, I'd have been all set for a raid next week. Would have thought they'd pull one the third day out. Now, leave your gun, Max. Come along.
No, I don't want a gun.
You don't want a gun?
No.
What do you want him to do? Those bulls are likely to shoot on sight.
All right, let them.
Listen.
It's the police side.
Here they come, Max, for God's sake.
No, for the last time, I'm not coming, Kenny.
Sanders, what are you doing?
I'm taking the cartridges out of this gun. There won't be no accident. Hey, you'd better get underway quick, Kenny.
What are you going to do, Max?
Me? I'm going to open that door and finish what I started.
And so Mac, alone and unarmed, goes to open the door to the law, to do a far, far better thing, according to his own standards. What will the outcome be? Will Cheney escape? Will the gang be captured? Will Max's sacrifice be in vain?
Sound off for Chesterfield. Chesterfield is best for you. First cigarette with premium quality in both regular and king size. Chesterfield brings you Dragnet.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned a robbery detail. A pair of hold-up men have been staging a series of robberies in your city. You have their description. You know their method of operation. Your job, get them.
Years ahead of them all.
Chesterfield is years ahead of them all.
The quality contrast between Chesterfield and other leading brands is a revealing story.
Recent chemical analyses give an index of good quality for the country's 6 leading cigarette brands. The index of good quality table, which is a ratio of high sugar to low nicotine, shows Chesterfield quality highest.
Chesterfield quality highest.
15% higher than its nearest competitor.
Chesterfield quality highest.
31% higher than the average of the 5 other leading brands.
Yes, Chesterfield is first with premium quality in both regular and king size.
Don't you want to try a cigarette with a record like this? Chesterfield.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Tuesday, September 6th. It was warm in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch at a robbery detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Didion. My name's Friday. I was on my way into the office, and it was 8:02 a.m. when I got to room 27A. Robbery.
Joe, is that you?
Yeah. Did you just get in?
Yeah, a couple of minutes ago.
The last run from the staff's office come in yet?
No, I called them. They said it'd be about 10. Hey, you look kind of beat.
Yeah, I had a little trouble sleeping last night.
Huh?
Went over this thing. Someplace the guys must have made a mistake. I can't figure it.
Yeah, I've been trying to figure an angle, too. Saw the skipper this morning.
What'd he say about it?
Nothing. Asked how we were doing. I told him we had a couple of things cooking. He didn't say anything. Guess he's getting plenty of heat from the front office. His pills are getting bigger.
Stomach's giving him trouble again, I guess.
Yeah, he had some this morning. Looked big enough for a horse. I never saw such big pills, Joe. He could hardly swallow them. Purple, too.
Well, 11 jobs in 3 months. All the same M.O., all the same descriptions. None of them add up to anything we can make.
Yeah. Skipper said he had a call from the insurance company that underwrote the jewelry store they hit last Thursday.
Yeah.
Said the guy was real nasty. Said if we couldn't clean it up, he was going to the police commission to get some action that way.
Robbery Friday. Who? Oh, yeah, Rod. Yeah, sure, I remember. How's it going? Oh, that's good. What? Yeah. Yeah, I guess we can come right down. All right, sure. Okay, Rod, thanks. We'll be right there. You remember Rod Nealon, the guy we nailed for robbery 5 years ago?
Nealon? Yeah, I know who you mean.
He wants to see us. Says he's got some information.
Yeah?
About the guys we're after. For the past 3 months, a pair of hold-up men had been victimizing the owners of large jewelry stores and supermarkets. In each case, the descriptions of the 2 suspects was the same. Suspect number 1 was described as WMA, 30 to 35 years old, red hair, tall and lean. Suspect number 2 was described as WMA, 25 to 30 years old, 5'7", 120 pounds. Victims reported that the larger of the two bandits had a slight stutter, but neither of them had any visible marks or scars. In each instance, the method of operation the bandits used was the same. The two men would enter the store at about 10 a.m. The smaller of the two thieves would ask to use the telephone. He'd go to the rear of the store, and there he would produce a .32 caliber automatic. The other man would pull a sawed-off shotgun, and together, the two of them would tape the victim's hands and feet and lock them in a rear room. Then they'd rifle the safe and leave. None of the victims could tell us if the pair used a car. Everyone concerned had been shown mug books, but they were unable to make an identification. The M.O. had been run through the staff's office, but after the possibles had been checked out, we had nothing. Communications had been gotten off to George Brereton up at CII, Sacramento, but they were unable to help us in making an identification. For 3 months, the hold-up men were able to hit where they wanted and when they wanted, and it seemed as if we were unable to stop them. All sources of information had been checked, but they netted us no new leads. 8:25 a.m., Frank and I drove over to see Rod Nealon. He worked in a small machine shop on South La Brea. He checked with the shop foreman and got permission to talk to us. He led us to a small lunch stand around the corner from the shop. We ordered a cup of coffee, and Rod told us why he'd called.
I got to reading the papers, read about these holdups, and figured maybe I could give you guys a hand.
We can use it, Rod.
You guys were pretty nice to me when I got picked up, so I figure I owe you a favor.
Well, what's the information you got, Ron?
Well, I was in the bar the other night. See, Friday night, place down on 3rd, having a beer.
Yeah.
Well, I sat there for a little bit, chewing up a storm with a bartender, and these two guys come in. Got a girl with them.
Uh-huh.
Well, the three of them go over to a booth, sit down, and order drinks. I didn't pay much attention to them. It's none of my business.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, when they put in their order, bartender and me got kind of laughing about it.
Why is that?
Well, the two guys ordered bourbon, but the girl ordered one of those weird mixed things, cream de mint and cream de cocoa and chopped up ice. Real weird. Well, I looked over at her. Usually the only people who order things like that are young kids. I asked the bartender about it.
Yeah.
He said that's all the girl ever ordered. Said they came in all the time, steady customers.
Well, what makes you think they're the ones we're after, Rod?
Well, the way they looked and acted. Two fellas were loaded with money, had a roll to choke a horse. Right then, I didn't think much about it. Figured maybe they were just trying to impress the girl,
Mm-hmm.
Didn't really think much about it then. On the way home, I stopped and picked up a morning paper. I read about the robberies. I noticed the descriptions you had on them. Fit the two guys in the bar to a T. Tall, redhead, short, dark fella. The big one even had that stutter.
You got any names on these two fellas?
No, I didn't hear anything. Not from them, anyway. I asked the bartender. He said the big one was called Chet and the little guy's named Vince. He didn't know much about them, just said they came in a lot and had a lot of money to spend.
Any idea where they live?
No, I don't think he knew.
How about a car? Did you see one?
No, like I said, I was there when they came in, and I left before they did. If I'd known what the bit was, I'd have stuck around and tried to get some more information for you. I didn't even figure it until I got home and saw the papers.
You heard anything around about the two men?
Not a thing. That's straight, too. I'm carrying a lunch bucket now. I got a job, and I keep my nose out of trouble. I had enough jail. I don't want any more of it.
Well, that's good to hear, Rod.
I learned. No more. Tough to learn it that way, but I guess there ain't no other. Now, sir, I'm clean. I'm going to stay that way. Like I said, though, you guys were nice to me. You gave me a break. I want to help you out. Sort of say thanks.
Yeah, Rod, and we appreciate it, too. You know that.
Listen, anything I can do, I'm with you, fellas.
Where is this bar?
It's a place on 3rd called Tad's. It's a little joint.
Yeah, we know it.
Most of the guys come in are there for contact, trying to set something up.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's just it, Rod.
What do you mean?
Well, I think that if Frank and I walk into the place, somebody will make us sure we're known there. We'll burn the place, lose the two men.
I guess so. Well, you want me to hang around there? Keep you posted? Let you know what the guys are doing?
Well, that's kind of up to you, Rod.
They found out I was playing footsie with you. They'd nail me sure. You know that.
Well, we'll give you all the help we can if you want to do it.
It's going to be a little expensive sitting in there. Can't just sit without ordering something,
Yeah. Well, here's $10. That ought to keep you going for a while.
Yeah, it will for a while. What do you want me to find out?
Well, get an address if you can. Find out where these guys work, what they do for a living, if they own a car. Get the license number if you can. Who the girl is, where she lives. Just as much as you can,
Okay, how'll I get back to you?
Well, we'll be around. You won't have to look far.
I hope not. Those two guys get onto me. I got big trouble,
Well, you don't have to do this if you don't want to, Rod.
Well, I want to. You guys have helped me plenty of times. Maybe I can kind of pay you back this way. I know I don't have to do it, Joe. It was my idea. It's okay by me if you guys will stay close.
We will, Rod.
Well, let's put it this way. You guys just stay close by. I'm 37. I got 28 years to go.
Yeah.
I want to be around for that Social Security.
We got the description of the girl who'd been seen with the two suspects, then Frank and I drove back to the office. We checked the names Chet and Vince through the moniker files in R&I. We came up with several possibles, but they were eliminated. For the next 3 days, we kept in constant contact with Rod Nealon. He would report for work at 8 a.m., finish up at 5, and then after a dinner downtown, he'd spend the evening in the bar down on 3rd Street. During that time, he had no contact with the two men. They'd failed to make an appearance at the bar. The kickbacks from up north arrived, but we got no new leads from them. Saturday, September 10th, Frank and I met with Nealon for lunch. He told us that he hadn't seen the suspects since the night he told us about. He said that the bartender told him that they hadn't been in the place on 3rd Street. 3:16 p.m., Frank and I checked back into the office.
Well, that went no place.
I wonder where they are.
I don't know, Joe. Nothing around town on them. Maybe they decided they were running their luck a little close, huh?
Well, it could be, but they got no reason to quit. As far as they know, they're in the clear. There's nothing to scare them off.
No. You think Rod is playing ball with us?
Well, I don't know. There's no reason not to. He came to us. We didn't go to him.
Guess he learned his lesson. Takes a lot of nerve to do what he's doing. Glad to see he's playing it straight, though.
Yeah. You want to check the book?
Yeah.
Anything there?
Nothing. This call from Faye wants me to call her before I leave the office. There are a couple of teletypes here. Joe?
Yeah?
Here's our answer.
What?
Teletype from San Francisco. Jewelry store was heisted for $150,000.
Yeah?
2 men, one with a sawed-off shotgun.
We sent a teletype to San Francisco immediately, asking for full details on the holdup. The answer gave the M.O. that the two thieves had used and their descriptions. In every detail, the operation matched that of the 2 men we were looking for. We put in a call to Rod Nealon, but we found that he hadn't reported for work that day. Frank and I drove out to his apartment, but his landlady told us that she hadn't seen him since the day before. Frank and I checked the places where he ate and where he spent his time when he wasn't working. None of his friends had seen him. We spent the next 2 days looking for him. From a bartender on 7th, we heard that Rod had been in the place on Sunday the night before, and at that time he'd been pretty drunk. The bartender said that he appeared frightened and nervous. Monday, September 12th, 5:30 p.m. Frank and I checked into the office to sign out for the day.
I'll sign us out.
All right, I'll check the box. I got it. Robbery, Friday. Yeah. Well, where you been? We've been looking all over for you. We thought something had happened. What? When? Yeah. Well, take it easy, Rod. Yeah, we'll get to you. Yeah, what model? You got the license number? Just a minute. All right, go ahead. 2N3-9291. Yeah. Okay, yeah. We'll see you there. All right, be careful.
Rod?
Yeah. Says he's been trying to get a hold of us all day. Says he didn't want to leave his name. 2 suspects are back in town. Rod says they got a bankroll like Fort Knox, sporting a new car. He got the number. Better check it right away.
Where's he been?
Well, he said he was worried. He's been trying to stay out of sight. Said we better get the guys fast.
Yeah.
He thinks they're on to him. Our informant, Rod Nealon, told me on the phone that he'd been hiding for the last 2 days. He said that on the night the robbery suspects had gotten back into town, the bartender had let it drop to them that Rod had been asking questions. They'd started after him, and he'd been on a 2-day drunk trying to hide from him. He said that he'd tried to call us at the office several times, but he'd found that we weren't in. He was reluctant to leave his name or a message for fear that the 2 hoodlums might in some way find out about it. Frank drove over to his apartment, but found that he wasn't there. When I'd spoken to him on the phone, he told me that he'd wait there until we could pick him up. The landlady at his place hadn't seen him and told Frank that she didn't even know that Rod was in the building. While Frank was gone, I checked the license number of the car through our DMV. They called us back to tell me that the car was registered to a Miss Dolly Keene at 18924 Elmwood Drive, Hollywood. Frank got back to the office, and we drove out to see the girl. On the apartment register, she was listed as the tenant of apartment 406. We knocked at the door to the manager's apartment and waited.
Yes?
You the manager, ma'am?
Yes, something I can do for you?
We're police officers. We'd like to talk to you. Here's our identification.
I see. Friday.
Yes, ma'am. It's my partner, Frank Smith.
How do you do,
How do you do? I'm Barbara Townsend. Would you like to come in and talk? Might be better in the hall.
Thank you very much, Miss Townsend.
It's Mrs. I'm a widow woman. Husband died 7 years ago.
I'm sorry to hear that, ma'am.
It's all right, Mr. Friday. I'm used to being a widow now. Just sit down. We can have our talk.
Thank you.
Now then, what was it you want to talk about? Not something I've done, I hope.
No, Miss Townsend. It's about one of your tenants, a Miss Dolly Keene.
Oh, that one. Might have known it.
Why'd you say that, ma'am?
Oh, just because. I always knew she was going to cause trouble here. I knew it. I told Sinbad about it, told him a lot of times.
Sinbad? Give us a description of the man.
Tall man, over 6 feet, red hair. Had a kind of stutter. I never talked to him. I just heard him when they came in. My door's right near the front, you know.
Yes, ma'am.
Does she have any other friends in the building, ma'am? Do you know?
Oh, no. Isn't anybody in the building likes her. Well, except that Mr. Newton on the second floor. He's kind of flighty, impressed with a pretty girl, you know. But she's not friendly with anybody.
Does she have any visitors? Anyone who came to see her?
Just her boyfriend, the red-headed one. And then there was the other one. I don't think he was a friend of hers, though.
What other one's that, ma'am?
He was a little man, dark. I think he was a friend of the boyfriend. Seemed that way to me.
Any of them drive a car, would you know?
Well, I don't know about the others, but Miss Keene just got one. Brand new. 1953. Don't know where she got the money for it, but by golly, she's got the car.
Uh-huh. She worked, ma'am?
I don't know. When she signed the lease, she told me that she was a designer for a clothing company out here. That's a fact. She's got mighty cushy hours. Seems to come and go whenever she pleases.
But when'd she get the new car, do you know?
It's a couple of days ago. She told me that she had to go out of town on some business. Wanted me to keep an eye on her apartment. She didn't have to tell me that. I'm the manager here. Of course I'm going to watch the place.
Yes, ma'am. About the car, please.
Oh, yeah. No, she had it when she came back. Just drove up in it, smart as you please. Told me that she wanted a garage for it. Said she didn't want to leave it on the streets at night. I told her she'd just have to wait. We got 18 units here and only 10 garages. All of them are taken. I told her she'd just have to wait. She said she maybe leave it over at her sister's for a few days.
Her sister's?
Yeah, she has a sister in the neighborhood someplace.
Do you know where she lives?
No, I don't. Pretty sure it's someplace in the neighborhood, though.
Would you know her sister's name?
No. Sorry, I can't help you out there either. She's married. Don't know her married name. Miss Keene never mentioned that.
How about mail, Miss Townsend? Miss Keene get much mail?
I couldn't tell you that. They got their own keys. They open their own mailboxes. I got no way of telling what they get.
I see.
Of course, I could see in through the little slots in the mailbox. She got a few letters. I couldn't tell you where they were from, though.
I see. She in now, would you know?
No. I mean, I don't think she's in. I haven't heard her. Usually she comes in laughing and carrying on, so I'd know if she was in. What's all this about, anyway? What's she done?
Well, we just like to talk to her, Mrs. Townsend.
Like that, is it?
Ma'am?
Got something secret to talk about. Huh?
No, ma'am, it's not that. It'd be better if we talked to her, that's all.
No. Well, I hope you get the chance to.
Beg pardon?
Well, last time I saw her, she talked about leaving town.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action. Chesterfield is best for you. Listen to this report. It's a report never before made about a cigarette. Smoked day after day by a group of people smoking from 10 to 40 cigarettes a day for a full year. Here's Chesterfield's record. A medical specialist, giving this group thorough examinations every 2 months for a full year, reports no adverse effects to their nose, throat, and sinuses from smoking Chesterfields. Don't you want to try a cigarette with a record like that? You'll find Chesterfield's best for you. They're much milder, with an extraordinarily good taste. And for your pocketbook, Chesterfield is America's best cigarette buy.
In the company of the manager, Frank and I went through the girl's apartment. In the closets, we found clothing that indicated that she'd returned to the place. We called the office and told them that we were setting up a stakeout on the building. Frank and I went downstairs and parked the car up the street. Frank was in the front seat of the car. I stayed in the back. 8:30 p.m. There was still no sign of the girl. Frank called the office and found that our informant, Rod Nealon, was still missing. We waited. 9:30 p.m. 11:30 p.m. A car answering the description of the girls pulled up in front of the apartment building.
Joe?
Yeah, I see him.
Car matches. Can you see the license?
No, not from here. 2 people in the car, a girl and a man.
Yeah.
Well, let's try it.
Right. I'll cover the other side, huh?
Right. Excuse me.
Yeah? Oh, what is it?
I'd like to see your identification, please.
Well, what for? I'm doing nothing.
Police officers like to see your ID.
I don't know what this is all about.
All right, mister, get out of the car.
I don't know what you guys are trying to prove with all this. Getting so a guy can't take his girl out anymore without cops rousing him.
Looks like the other one in the car that just pulled up.
Yeah.
Vince, get out of here. It's the cops.
I'll get him.
All right, get your hands in back of it.
Lousy cops, you'll never get him.
Stand still.
You'll never get him. He's probably got your partner by now.
All right, get back in the car.
What's going on, Sheriff?
Lousy cops, they think they got us. Vince is a good shot.
All right, give me those ignition keys, lady.
What for?
Give them to me.
All right.
Now, both of you, stay in the car.
Joe, the apartment house. Over here.
How about it?
He's up there on the second floor.
All right, come on, mister, give it up.
Get away from me, cops. Get away.
Throw that gun down here. Come on, throw that gun down.
What do you figure, Joe?
I don't know, cover me, I'll go up.
Right. How about it?
I don't see him.
Stop it! Don't shoot! I give up! I give up! Don't shoot anymore, please!
All right, mister, throw that gun out here. Come on. Throw it out here.
All right. There it is. You got it. I'll give you a break. I got it, Joe.
All right, come on, put your hands against that wall.
I'm hurt. He shot me. Now leave me alone. I'm hurt. Did you see that?
I'll shake him. He's clean.
Call a doctor. Give me a doctor. I'll bleed to death. Don't give me a doctor.
You're not hurt that bad. Now, come on, let's go.
I'll give you a hand. Come on.
All right, come on.
What's all the shooting about? Oh. Shot him, huh?
Yes, ma'am. I better call Georgia Street, Frank. Get the other ones in the car.
Yeah, I'll stay here with this one.
Frank?
What's the matter? Something wrong?
Yeah, I got to get out of broadcast. They're gone. When the number 2 suspect had started firing at Frank, I handcuffed the first suspect and I went to Frank's aid. On returning to the car, we found that both suspects had escaped. The man was still handcuffed, so moving around would be difficult for him. A broadcast was gotten out to all units in the area on the 2 escaped suspects. The car they'd driven was still parked out in front of the apartment. An ambulance arrived and removed the wounded suspect to the county hospital. Before he was taken away, he gave us the names of his 2 accomplices, Chester Rayburn and Dolly Keene. We called the office and told him what had happened. Additional teams of men were sent out to help us canvass the area. Frank and I went through the personal effects of Dolly Keene. In a desk drawer, we found a telephone book, and one of the numbers in the book bore the name Sis. It gave a telephone number and an address 3 blocks from the apartment house. We got in touch with Captain Didion and informed him of the developments. Additional men from Metro Division were sent out to cover the address listed in the telephone book. Captain Didion also told us that our informant, Rod Nealon, had been found in a rooming house on 3rd Street where he'd been hiding since the 2 bandits had gotten back into town. He was placed in protective custody. Frank and I went over to the sister's apartment.
Yeah, what do you want?
Police officers. You Patricia Saxon?
Yeah, so what?
Want to look at your apartment.
What for? There's nothing here means anything to you.
Sister been here tonight?
No. Haven't seen her last couple of days.
Anyone here with you?
No.
We're going to have to look.
Yeah, maybe I don't want you to.
That's tough, lady. All right, let's shake it down, Frank.
Yeah.
There's no one here. Isn't anybody with me?
Closet in the bedroom.
Yeah.
Better stay away from there. He's got a shotgun.
Cover that side, Frank.
Yeah.
All right, Rayburn. Open the door slow and throw that gun out here. Rayburn, we'll tell you once more. We know you're in there. Now throw that gun out here.
He's not coming out, Joe.
All right, cop, here it is. I don't want no trouble, you hear? No trouble. You got the gun.
All right, come on. Get up, Rayburn, on your feet. You too, Miss Keene. Come on out of there.
Don't shoot. Please don't. We didn't mean nothing. Don't shoot. We give her...
Well, come on out of there. Keep your hands on your head there.
I'll get it.
Wasn't anything else I could do. Had to do what they tell me. Come in here with that gun and wanted something to cut those handcuffs off with. Had to do what they said.
Yeah, sure.
They'd have killed me if I didn't. I know it. They'd have killed me.
A couple of more minutes and we'd have had it made. Just a couple more minutes, that's all. That's all we needed. Though we got up north, he never got us. We'd have had it made.
One more big job, that's what she said. One more and we'd be through. Well, wise God, where are we now?
Right where he said you'd be.
What?
You're through.
The story you've just heard was true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On January 18th, trial was held in Department 87, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. In a moment, the results of that trial.
Now, here is our star, Jack Webb.
Thank you, George Fenneman. Did you know that Chesterfield shows up year after year as first choice of young America? Now, that's based on a survey made in 274 colleges and universities. The reason is we're first with premium quality in both regular and king size. Chesterfield. It's a good, mild smoke with a wonderful taste.
Chester Lloyd Rayburn and Vincent Robert Parker were tried and found guilty on 9 counts of robbery in the first degree. They were sentenced to the state penitentiary for the term prescribed by law. Robbery in the first degree is punishable by imprisonment for a period of not less than 5 years. Lillian Keene, alias Dolly Keene, was tried and convicted of being an accessory. She received sentence as prescribed by law. Aiding a principal in a felony is punishable by imprisonment in the state penitentiary for a period of not more than 5 years.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the fight against an old enemy, polio, medical research has armed us with a powerful new weapon, gamma globulin. Used soon enough, it can prevent the paralyzing effects of polio. But first, you must furnish the raw material, blood. Doctors urgently need your donation of blood to make gamma globulin. So call the Red Cross. Please don't put it off. It's too important. Call the Red Cross tomorrow and make an appointment to give blood.
Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department. Technical advisors, Captain Jack Donahoe, Sergeant Marty Wynn, Sergeant Vance Brasher. Heard tonight were Ben Alexander, Peggy Weber, Peter Leeds. Script by John Robinson. Music by Walter Schumann. Hal Gibney speaking.
For a million laughs, tune in Chesterfield's Martin and Lewis show, Tuesday on this same NBC station. And sound off for Chesterfield's. Either regular or king size, you'll find premium quality Chesterfield's much milder. Chesterfield is best for you.
Chesterfield has brought you Dragnet, transcribed from Los Angeles.
Now, new Fatima has the tip for your lips. Fatima tips of perfect cork. King size for natural filtering. Fatima quality for a much better flavor and aroma. So remember, new Fatima has the tip for your lips. Fatima. See how smooth they are.
Remember, Fatima is made by the makers of Chesterfield, Liggett and Myers, one of tobacco's most respected names.
Ladies and gentlemen, the material and quotations included in the following program have been taken directly from news dispatches off the wires of Associated Press, United Press, and International News Service. This news material is presented for your information without editorial comment.
From San Francisco, the American Broadcasting Company presents 1 out of 7. 24 hours make a day, 7 days make 1 week. And from these past 7 days, the editors here in our San Francisco newsroom have chosen the one story which they have judged most worthy of retelling. This is 1 out of 7.
Spring has come back again to the land of free men. And all up and down the nation, in the quiet suburbs, in the town and village, beneath blankets of young spring stars, free men sing their songs onto the night air, sharp with the smells of wet, green grass, heavy with omens of nourishing rains soon to come. Yes, it is a wonderful thing to live in a land where men are equal, where men are brothers. It is truly a most wonderful thing. And all the more precious does it become when we realize that only a few years ago, in ravaged cities far beyond our eastern coast, this was the order of events.
All right, here, Lieutenant. Clear away the bodies from the wall. Come along. Faster. We haven't all night. Line up another dozen of the Jewish animals against the wall. Fast, fast. That is it. Juden, swine. Soon they will all be gone. We must make it clear that we are the masters. Achtung. Ready. Aim. Fire. That is good. Clear them away. Skip along there. Bring up another dozen. Move. We haven't all night to know.
Yes, it is a wonderful thing to live in a land where all men are brothers. Truly a wonderful thing. But in one small American town, a young Negro, too active politically to suit his white neighbors, is dragged from his home to a field on the outskirts of the town. There he is fastened to cross-like posts. His clothes are ripped from his body. A man with a huge whip advances toward him.
All right, nigger. Maybe this will teach you to keep some of your equality ideas to yourself this time. You know, a few swats across your hide with this should convince you that we're the bosses down here. All right, boys, come on, men. Give me room. Stand back. All right, Negro. Here you are. And this. And once more. You want to learn now? I'll teach you. Yeah.
And all up and down the nation, in the quiet suburbs, in the town and the village, free men sing their songs onto the quiet night air, crammed with promise for better things and better times to come.
It's not far, just close by, through an open door. Work all done, care laid by, going to
It is a wonderful thing to live in a land where a man does not fear because of his creed, where a man may cast his vote for what he believes in. Yes, it is truly a most wonderful thing. But last week, in the city of Birmingham, Alabama, a Negro college graduate mounts the steps of Jefferson County Courthouse, makes his way down a long marbled corridor, and enters the office of the Registrar of Voters. There, as provided by Alabama state law, the young Negro takes the voter's registration test. He explains intelligently and comprehensively the Constitution of the United States, translates on sight a very difficult passage of French, undergoes more tedious cross-examination. Finally, he is asked,
"All right, boy. Hey, read what it says here in this Greek newspaper."
The young student studies the paper for a moment, and then he replies, Why, it says here that Negroes can't vote in the state of Alabama.
That's absolutely correct, boy. You sure have caught on. Now listen. If you'll just step out that door you came in and slam it behind you.
In the neighboring state of Mississippi, in the small town of Tupelo, Reverend James Parsons files his candidacy for the United States House of Representatives to oppose incumbent Congressman John Rankin. Immediately thereafter, the insurance on the church in which Reverend Parsons has served for 25 years is canceled. Reverend Parsons' daughter is a school teacher, so her teacher's certificate is immediately taken away. Reverend Parsons' son is away at Howard University for Negroes in Washington, and he is warned by telegram,
"Your old man has fixed you good. Now don't try to come back to Tupelo if you know what's good for you. You got that?"
Finally, one Sunday evening, after evening services at his church, Reverend Parsons is standing at the door to the vestibule when a group of men approach him.
Good evening, gentlemen. What may I do for you?
I'll tell you what you can do, Buzz. You can get out of town. Get out of town and get out fast. And don't try to come back, or we'll lynch you sure.
Spring has come back to the earth again, to the land of free men, and all up and down the nation, free men sing their songs onto the quiet night air, heavy with omens of nourishing rains to come.
Dead, let my people go. Go down, Moses, way down in Egypt land. Hello, Pharaoh, to let my people go.
The script for 1 out of 7 is written by James Edward Moser. Gil Dowd was the producer. Music is by Otto Clare at the Hammond. All characters are portrayed by Jack Webb. Featured tonight was Joseph James, baritone. Tonight's presentation was based on reports taken from authoritative files and from dispatches off the wires of Associated Press, United Press, and International News Service. Listen again next week, same time, same station for
1 out of 7.
John Galbraith speaking. This is ABC, the American Broadcasting Company.
Sound off for Chesterfield. Chesterfield is best for you. First cigarette with premium quality in both regular and king size. Chesterfield brings you Dragnet.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you're about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. detective sergeant. You're assigned to robbery detail. Somewhere in your city, a man is endangering the lives of your fellow officers. His weapon, a 10-cent piece. Your job, get him.
Years ahead of them all.
Chesterfield is years ahead of them all.
The quality contrast between Chesterfield and other leading brands is a revealing story.
Recent chemical analyses give an index of good quality for the country's 6 leading cigarette brands. The index of good quality table, which is a ratio of high sugar to low nicotine, shows Chesterfield quality highest.
Chesterfield quality highest.
15% higher than its nearest competitor.
Chesterfield quality highest.
31% higher than the average of the 5 other leading brands.
Yes, Chesterfield is first, with premium quality in both regular and king size.
Don't you want to try a cigarette with a record like this? Chesterfield.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Wednesday, May 6th. It was warm in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of robbery detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Didion. My name's Friday. We were on our way back from the drunk tank, and it was 8:34 a.m. when we got to the first floor, the interview room. Okay, you want to sit down, Harris?
Yeah. What a head. Either one of you got an aspirin?
No, sorry.
How about a cigarette?
Yeah, here you go.
Here, I'll get that for you.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks. Boy, what a head. I feel like I'll fall off and roll around on the floor.
Yeah.
Last time I got this tank was in the South Pacific. Natives brewed up some stuff. Tasted like torpedo juice. Took me 3 days to get over that. Hey, what am I in here for?
You don't remember?
No, not good. A lot of fog. Seems like the last thing I remember is a lot of sirens, fire engines, cops, a lot of noise. After that, there's a big nothing. What'd I do?
Well, he called the police department, told them an officer had been shot trying to stop a holdup. Then he called the fire department, told them the Times building was on fire.
You're kidding.
No, he's not.
Well, I really got it this time, haven't I?
Yes, sir, you got yourself a problem.
Why'd you do it?
Gee, I'm trying to think. Seemed like the girl I was with made some remark about L.A. being a dull town. I told her she just didn't know the place. I think that's when I started calling. Hey, this in the morning papers?
I don't think so. Why?
I really got trouble if it is. You arrest the girl?
No.
Thanks for small favors.
What?
Either you married?
Yeah, he is.
Well, he'll know what I mean. I don't think my wife would be crazy about who I was out with last night.
No?
Yeah. Wife thinks I was at a sales meeting. Hope she doesn't find out. Hey, where was I when you picked me up?
Well, according to the arrest report, you were in a phone booth trying to have the National Guard called out.
I gotta join something. This is the worst one I've ever pulled.
Where do you live, Harris?
Apartment over on 9th. Didn't they get that last night?
No. All you tell the arresting officers was your name.
I didn't give anybody any trouble, did I? I mean, I didn't start a fight, nothing like that, huh?
No. You didn't cause any trouble until they got you down here.
Down here? I didn't hit anybody, did I?
Well, you tried, but you didn't make it.
You guys are detectives, aren't you?
That's right.
How come they send you fellas down here? I caused that much trouble?
How long you been in town, Harris?
Since I got out of the service. I think about 6 years.
You said you were a salesman. Who do you work for?
Connington and Michaels.
How long you been with them?
Since I got out, went to work for them right after I was discharged.
Ever been arrested before?
No. Oh, a couple of traffic tickets, nothing serious. Hey, what's all this about anyway? Well, you guys act, you're trying to prove something more than just a drunk rap. What's the pitch?
Well, there's been some fellow around town who's been making calls like you made last night. He's been making a lot of them.
They've all been phony, but we got to send out equipment.
Oh, you figure maybe it was me, huh?
Looks like it might have been. We have to check it out.
No, I guess I made the ones last night. You say I did, but that's it. Hey, you mind if I take another cigarette?
Yeah, here. Help yourself.
Thanks.
Here's a match.
Thanks. Thanks. No, I'm sorry. You guys got the wrong fellow.
No.
You can check me. You'll find out you got the wrong man.
Uh-huh.
How come this is so important? You must get a lot of phony calls. How come this is so big?
A lot of reasons make it that way.
Yeah? Don't see it myself. Lots of times I see fire engines go out in false alarms. Doesn't look like it does any harm.
Do you remember how many units were with you last night?
No. Must have been a lot of them.
Well, 15 police cars answered the officers' need help call before they could get a code 4 out on it.
There were 5 units of fire department equipment there.
I suppose that equipment had been needed someplace else on a real call.
Yeah, see what you mean.
It's not just the equipment being out of service. Every time a unit rolls on a call, there's the chance that somebody's going to get hurt. That's what you built last night.
Look, I said I was sorry. There's anything more I can tell you. Any chance of me getting an aspirin around here?
There's a doctor here. All he had to do was ask for it. We'll check on our way out.
All right, come on, Harris. You can go back now.
Yeah.
Now, just a minute. What's the name of the friend you were out with last night?
You're going to have to drag her into this?
We've got to check your story.
I hate to have you do that. The story will stand. It isn't that.
What is it, then?
I told you I was married.
Yeah.
This gets in the papers. I'm going to have a bigger headache.
Is that right?
Yeah, my wife won't understand about last night.
Yeah, that's too bad, Harris.
She just won't understand, that's all.
Well, how's that?
Well, she's president of the Neighborhood Temperance Club.
a.m. James Harris was returned to his cell to be held to answer charges of violation of Section 4127A Municipal Code. Frank and I called the woman he'd said he was with the night before. She verified the story that he'd given us. Further investigation of Harris proved that he couldn't possibly have been the suspect we were looking for. We drove back to the office to talk with Captain Didion. For the past 3 weeks, both the police and fire departments had been getting a number of false calls, apparently from the same person. The officers on the complaint board told us that they had gotten so that they almost recognized the voice of the caller. They told us that it sounded like a male voice, and the caller could be middle-aged. The person had no noticeable accent or speech peculiarities. They'd tried to hold the suspect on the phone when they were certain that it was the same caller, but they'd been unable to do so. Most of the calls the suspect put through were of the emergency type. As a result, we had to send men and equipment to the reported scene, even though we might think that the call was a false one. The calls averaged 6 a week during the period that the suspect had been operating. In cooperation with the members of the fire department, Frank and I were assigned to try to apprehend the person making the calls. The operation was simple. The individual would call the board, give an address that we couldn't check out, and then describe what had happened. The address given was usually a corner, so that it was impossible for us to make verifying phone calls. In each instance, as soon as the suspect would report the disturbance, he would hang up. The operation was simple and untraceable. 11:17 a.m. We finished talking with Captain Didion and left his office.
All right, Skipper. Check you later. Boy, he's in a great mood this morning, you know.
Do you blame him? The way this thing's going, we're no nearer to breaking it.
Yeah. Joe, it figures the guy who's doing this is going to be around to watch all the excitement. That's got to be the reason he's making the call, so he can get his kicks.
Well,
it figures he's got to be in the crowd someplace.
So?
Well, let's try to get a hold of the newspaper pictures. Try to check them. Find one person who's at the scene. Might work.
Well, it's someplace to start, isn't it? It's a hot shot. I get it. Gonna have to wait. Bank robbery in progress. 11:26 a.m. We took the call car and started for the bank. Before we arrived, Control 1 put out a code 4 on the call. No further assistance needed. It was another false alarm. We completed our investigation, and on the way back to the office, we answered an ambulance follow-up call 2 blocks from the bank. A squad car had been on the way to answer the robbery call at the bank. It had been traveling north on Spring Street. An ambulance had been making an emergency trip to Georgia Street Receiving Hospital. It had been traveling west on 7th Street. Both had been rolling code 3. Neither one of them heard the siren of the other unit. Neither of them knew of the other's presence. Both had hit the intersection at the same time. The police car, in an attempt to avoid the ambulance, had swerved. It had caromed off the side of the larger vehicle and then plowed through traffic and hit a traffic signal pole head-on. The car had hit the pole at the seam of the left front fender and the body. The police unit had been split wide open. The officer on the passenger side of the car had been thrown against the windshield. The other one had been thrown into the steering wheel and then out of the car onto the curb 10 feet from the wrecked unit. The ambulance, after being hit, had spun across the intersection on 2 wheels, hit the curbing, and tipped over. Only the fact that it had hit a streetlight pole had stopped it from going on through the pedestrian traffic on the sidewalk. It had come to rest laying on its side at the southeast corner of the intersection. The driver of the ambulance had been thrown clear of the truck. The patient in the rear and the attendant with him had been thrown about in the interior of the unit, and when we got there, they were lying in a mass of wreckage. The intersection was covered with gasoline and oil. A traffic officer was attempting to do what he could for the survivors.
Let us through here. Police officers, please let
All
us
right,
through.
sir, if you'll just step back there. I'm sorry. Keep back, please.
Friday and Smith, central robbery.
Oh, I'm sorry. Jake's in traffic.
They alive?
I don't know. Both unconscious. Pretty bad. I didn't want to move them.
How about an ambulance?
I put the call in right away.
Did you call in about this oil on the streets here?
No, I didn't yet.
Well, you better get a call in, don't you think? Have them warn all approaching units. Street's slippery. Have them approach with caution, huh?
Right.
Thank you.
Sure is a mess, isn't it?
Doesn't look like they got much of a chance, does it?
How about that ambulance?
A couple of officers there now. Guess they're looking after him. Let's check the driver.
How about it, Joe?
Well, that ambulance better get here quick.
Yeah?
He isn't going to last long. The ambulance arrived, and the injured men were removed to Georgia Street Receiving Hospital. The police garage sent out a wrecker, and the damaged vehicles were removed. The intersection was cleaned of the gasoline and oil, and inside of an hour and a half, the coroner was handling traffic as usual. The only indication of the wreck left on the scene was a broken hubcap lying in a puddle of dirty water in the gutter. 2 police officers had been seriously injured in the accident. Frank and I checked the immediate neighborhood for witnesses. We found a newspaper vendor who had a stand a block from the scene. He identified himself as George Kennedy. He told us what he knew of the wreck.
I saw the whole thing.
Yes, sir. If you tell us what you saw, please.
Well, my stand is just up the street there. So you can see it on the corner.
Uh-huh.
Well, I was checking stock. A lot of new magazines came in this morning. I was going through them. You know, marking them up, going through them.
Yes, sir.
I was just standing there fixing up the new magazines when all of a sudden I heard these sirens. Sounded like they're coming from all directions.
I see.
Then I saw that their ambulance coming down 7th Street. I stopped what I was doing to see where the ambulance was going, and I heard the crash. Terrible.
Did you see the accident, Kennedy?
Well, not at first, no. I saw it right after I heard the brakes. I didn't really see it at first, you know, just after I heard the brakes. And then I looked up and saw what was happening, and I started to run down there.
Mm-hmm.
Saw the cars all smashed up. Right after that, I saw you guys come up, and then the other ambulance. And that's about all. Nothing more I can tell you, I guess. Anything I can do to help? Anything at all?
No, sir.
How about the officers in the car? Are they all right? I heard one of them was dead. Any truth in that?
No, sir. Both of them are in pretty bad shape.
Awful thing to happen. Biggest crash I ever saw. Just awful.
Uh-huh. Well, thanks, Kennedy, for your help.
No, it wasn't anything. Glad to do what I could. Anything else I can do, if you guys just let me know.
All right, Kennedy. Thanks very much.
Oh, not at all. Glad to do it. Sure, terrible thing. No need for it. Such a waste.
Yes, sir.
If they die, it'll almost seem like they was murdered, won't it?
Yes, sir. From here, it looks that way. Frank and I drove back to the office. We checked with the doctor at the P&F ward at Georgia Street Receiving Hospital. The doctor told us that the injured officers were still in critical condition and as yet had not regained consciousness. We checked with the complaint board, and the officer who'd answered the call about the supposed bank robbery told us that he thought that the caller was the same suspect we were looking for. With Captain Didion and Captain Hagenbaugh in communications, we worked out a plan to attempt to apprehend the caller. The next time he put in a call, the officer answering the complaint would attempt to keep him on the line with questions regarding the complaint until we could get to the vicinity and start a search for him. We would be notified by a hotshot call immediately. 2 days passed without the caller making a move. On Saturday, May 8th, we got a call from Georgia Street Receiving Hospital.
Yeah, Doc. Uh-huh. Well, how about the families? They've been told yet? Uh-huh. Well, I imagine they're pretty happy about it, huh? Yeah, well, thanks for letting us know. Right, Doc. Bye.
Doc Hall?
Yeah. Both officers are going to be okay. They're doing what they can for him.
Hot shot. Well, maybe we can do something for him. Suspect's on the phone now. The caller had told the officer on the complaint board that he wanted to report an attempted robbery at the corner of 6th and Spring Streets. He said there was a shooting as the operator of the store involved had tried to stop the holdup man. The man on the phone had requested police assistance and the dispatching of an ambulance to the scene. The officer so far had managed to keep the caller on the phone while he let us know of the call. Another officer had called the store and verified that there was no holdup as reported. Frank and I left the office and proceeded to the area code 2. We felt that if the suspect heard the siren of a unit, it might alarm him and we'd lose him. We arrived at the corner 4 minutes after we'd gotten the hot shot. Frank took one side of the street and I took the other. We worked our way down 6th Street, spotting all of the stores with public telephones. It took us a little over 3 minutes to cover the street for 1 block east. We met back at the corner and started down Spring Street. As time went on, our chances of the suspect staying on the phone dwindled. 12 minutes had passed since the suspect had placed the call. I was covering the east side of Spring Street, and I was almost to the corner of 7th when I walked into a store to check the phone booth just inside the door. The voice was familiar. It was George Kennedy, the proprietor of the corner newsstand.
Sure, I can see you. No, my name don't matter. All that counts is you get an ambulance here right away. You don't, this poor man's going to bleed to death. Well, certainly, he's right here, right in the same room.
All right, come on out of there.
Hey, what's this all about?
Come on out of that phone booth.
What right you got to tell me what to do?
No, don't hang up that phone, Kennedy.
You got no business breaking into my phone call.
All right, you come out of that booth, will you, right now? Now, stand right there.
Hello. Yeah. No, this is Friday. Yeah, we got him. Uh-huh. Yeah, well, as soon as I pick up Smith, we'll be right in.
Hold it up, Kennedy. Stop that man. Hey, stop him. Hey, mister, what's wrong?
You all right, mister?
Yeah, did you see where that old man went?
No. Sorry, mister. He ran in the crowd over there. I wasn't watching him. I thought sure you were going to get hit by that car.
Hey, Joe. What are you doing out in the middle of the street?
Well, I had him. It's George Kennedy, the guy with the newsstand.
You mean the guy we talked to the other day?
That's right.
Well, at least we know who we're after. That's a help.
Yeah, maybe. We got to get him fast now.
Yeah?
He knows we're after him. We went back to our unit and got out a broadcast on George Kennedy. After that, we checked the immediate neighborhood, but we were unable to find the suspect. We checked at his newsstand, but the people in the surrounding stores were unable to give us the exact address where he lived. We arranged for a stakeout on the newsstand, and then we went back to the city hall and called the city clerk. We asked him to check the records for the license issued to Kennedy. The clerk's office told us they would check their files immediately and call us back. We ran the name George Kennedy through R&I, but he had no previous criminal record. We checked with Captain Didion while we waited for the call back from the city clerk's office. I got it. Robbery Friday. Yeah? Who? Well, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hello. That's all we need.
What is it?
That was Kennedy. Says he knows we want him, and he said we better forget all about it, that we'll never get him.
Yeah?
Says we might as well give up.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action.
Don't you want to try a cigarette with a record like this?
The first choice of young America, according to a recent survey made in 274 colleges. Chesterfield.
The first cigarette with premium quality in both regular and king size. Chesterfield.
The cigarette with highest quality, proven by chemical analyses to have higher quality than the 5 other leading brands. Chesterfield.
And first, to give you this report. A doctor has been making thorough examinations of a group of Chesterfield smokers every 2 months for a full year. And he reports no adverse effects to the nose, throat, and sinuses from smoking Chesterfield. Try Chesterfield. Buy a carton. Much milder Chesterfield is America's best cigarette buy.
A local broadcast was gotten out on Kennedy. The city clerk called back and gave us the home address listed on his application for a vendor's license. We checked out the address, a rooming house on 9th Street, and the landlady told us that Kennedy was not at home, that she hadn't seen him all day. She was able to give us the address of his sister, and after Frank and I arranged for a stakeout on the rooming house, we drove over to see the sister. She lived in a small frame house in the Hollywood area.
I suppose I knew that it had to happen. I guess there wasn't any way to avoid it.
Ma'am?
About George. He's sick. I guess you know that.
Yes, ma'am. Have you ever spent any time in an institution of any sort, would you know?
No. There were times when I thought about it. We used to talk, try to figure out what was the best thing. Somehow we just couldn't bring ourselves to do it, to commit him.
You say we, ma'am. Who do you mean?
Oh, me and Harold. Harold's my brother. He's the baby of the family. And what the doctor said, I guess, in a way, Harold's the cause of the whole thing. Way back, I mean.
Ma'am?
Well, I can't deny it. We talked to doctors about George, you know, psychologists.
Yes, ma'am.
He said that George had a compulsion complex. Came from when he was a little boy. That he resented the attention that the folks showed Harold. It's unfortunate. Harold was sickly when he was little, and he needed more attention. Guess George didn't understand.
Mm-hmm. You any idea where he might be now, ma'am?
No? You tried the place over on 9th? That's where he lives.
Yes, Miss Carroll. We checked the place. Landlady said she hadn't seen your brother all day.
Oh. Well, if he's not there, I don't know where he could be. No. I wouldn't have the slightest idea.
Could you tell us if your brother had any close friends in the city? Anyone he might go to?
None at all. I'm sorry I can't be of more help.
Well, do you have a recent picture of your brother, ma'am?
Well, yes, I think I can find one for you. Why do you want it?
Well, we needed to find him, Miss Carroll.
Oh. Well, I have one that was taken this year at George's birthday party. I took it with one of those cameras that develop right away, you know.
Yes, ma'am. What if you'd be kind enough to get it for us?
Surely, I think it's in the desk. I'll get it for you.
Thank you.
Oh, excuse me a minute.
Surely.
Hello? Oh, yes. What? Uh-huh, they're here now. I don't know what to think. Yes. Yes, I know, but it's too late for that now. The important thing is to find him before he does something more. Yeah. Well, I'll call you back. I don't want to keep the officers waiting. All right, bye. That was Harold. He heard about George.
Mm-hmm. It's possible your brother might go over to his place.
No, that's the last place he'd go.
What if you could give us his address, please?
Well, sure, I can give it to you. I know that George wouldn't go there, though.
Why are you so sure, ma'am?
I told you about the birthday party. Well, George and Harold were there, just a family sort of thing. At least it started out that way. The way it finished was awful. George and Harold got into a big fight. They were always arguing.
What if you get that picture for us now, Miss Carroll?
Oh, yes, right away. It's here someplace. Harold just said that we should have put George in an institution a long time ago. Should have had him helped. I guess he's right. I guess it's all my fault.
Why do you say that, ma'am?
Well, it was me that didn't want George committed. I was the one who fought against it. I was so sure that everything would work out all right. Oh, here it is.
Yes, ma'am.
That's George. He got a paper hat on. He come out of one of those little snapper things. George liked things like that, kid things. I guess he never grew up.
Yes, ma'am.
Always lived in a dream world. Made it up himself. Thought that everybody was persecuting him, that people were after him. It's so silly it wasn't true.
I'm afraid it is, ma'am.
What?
We're after him. We got the address of George Kennedy's brother, and Frank and I drove over to talk to him. He told us that he didn't have the slightest idea where his brother might be. We called the office and arranged for a stakeout on homes of the sister and the brother in the event that Kennedy might try to contact them. 6:30 p.m., we met with Captain Didion and a psychiatrist from Georgia Street Receiving Hospital. The psychiatrist said that after hearing our report on Kennedy's actions, that he might have a strong compulsion complex. And as a result of events that morning, he could have a violent resentment of any type of authority. 2 days passed. We got more leads and we ran them down. They went no place. Tuesday, May 11th, 12:51 a.m. I get it. Robbery Friday. Yes, ma'am. Well, when was that? Yeah. All right, Miss Carroll, we'll take care of it. Yes, ma'am. Right away, thank you. It's Kennedy's sister. Says he just called her.
Yeah?
Said he was over by Westlake Park, that he was going to commit suicide. (1:02 a.m.) We called the complaint board and told them what had happened. They contacted all available units and asked them to proceed to Westlake Park, Code 2. Frank and I drove to the area. By the time we got there, several units had responded to the call. As yet, none of them had seen Kennedy. From the bridge on Wilshire, 2 men had been watching the lake, and up to the time we got there, they'd seen no activity on the surface of the water. 1:30 a.m., Frank and I started to go through the park. A heavy fog had risen from the lake, and visibility was dropping fast.
You see anything?
No. Now, let's head down toward the lake, huh?
Yeah.
This way.
Gee, it's getting cold. I should have worn a heavier coat.
Hold it a minute. See him?
Yeah. Just sitting there. Doesn't see us, though.
All right. You take him from that side. I'll go this way. Watch it, huh?
Right.
Who's there? Who is it? I know you're there. Who is it? I got a gun. You can come any closer now, I'm going to shoot. I can see you, you know. I can see you. You get away from here. You get away right now or I'm going to shoot. All right, I warned you.
Put that gun down, Kennedy.
Yeah, I knew you were there. I knew it. You thought you could sneak up on me and get me and I wouldn't know it, huh? That's what you thought, ain't it? Huh? Ain't it?
Nobody's trying to sneak up on you, Kennedy. Nobody's trying to hurt you.
Yeah, that's what you say, but I know different. I know. Who are you? Come on, I know anyway, so you might as well tell me. Who are you?
You know who I am, George. Joe Friday. I'm your friend. Now, you know that, don't you?
Ain't anybody that's my friend. Ain't anybody. Nobody I can trust. Why should I trust you? Come on, tell me. Why should I trust you? You're a cop, ain't you? Ain't you?
You know that, George. We met before. You know I'm your friend, too, don't you?
No, you ain't. You ain't my friend. You want to take me away and lock me up.
It's not true, George. I just want to talk to you. Just sit and talk, that's all.
You stay away from me. I'm not going to tell you again. I don't want you near me.
Now, take it easy, George.
No, you ain't going to get me. I'm going to get away from you. Away from all of you.
All right, wait a minute.
Yeah. I know all about you. I know you ain't going to get me. I can't swim. Somebody help me. Help.
All right, Kennedy, take it easy. All right, come on now. You're all right. You're all right. Come on. Come on, get up here. Now, you're all right.
Ain't anybody that understand. Ain't anybody.
You okay, Joe?
Yeah.
I'll shake him. He's clean.
I couldn't even get a gun. Couldn't even get a gun. Never could do anything right. Just nothing ever went right. Wasn't anybody that understood. Nobody that knew what I wanted. Nobody cared about me. Nobody cared.
You're wrong about that.
Huh?
We do.
The story you've just heard was true. The names were changed to protect the innocent. On September 21st, trial was held in Department 97, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. In a moment, the results of that trial. Now, here is our star, Jack Webb.
Thank you, George Fenneman. I sure hope you were listening real close to what George Fenneman had to say tonight, because it proves what I always tell you. You can't beat the premium quality you get in Chesterfield, regular or king size. I'd like you to try Chesterfields. They're much milder, and they have a wonderful taste.
The case of George Hoyt Kennedy was referred to the city attorney. Due to the mental condition of the suspect, the case was then referred to the psychopathic detail at Georgia Street Receiving Hospital. After due process in Superior Court, the suspect was committed to a mental institution for treatment. Ladies and gentlemen, we wish to thank the editors and readers of TV Radio Mirror magazine for their awards to Dragnet, and their 6th annual award issue, now on sale at your newsstand. You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department. Technical advisors, Captain Jack Donahoe, Sergeant Marty Wynn, Sergeant Vance Brasher. Heard tonight were Ben Alexander, Herb Ellis, Ralph Moody. Script by John Robinson. Music by Walter Schumann. Hal Gibney speaking. For a million laughs, tune in Chesterfield's Martin and Lewis show Tuesday on this same NBC station. And sound off for Chesterfield's. Either regular or king size, you'll find premium quality Chesterfield much milder. Chesterfield is best for you. Chesterfield has brought you Dragnet, transcribed from Los Angeles.
Now, new Fatima has the tip for your lips. Fatima tips of perfect cork. King size for natural filtering. Fatima quality for a much better flavor and aroma. So remember, new Fatima has the tip for your lips. Fatima. See how smooth they are.
Remember, Fatima is made by the makers of Chesterfield, Liggett & Myers, one of tobacco's most respected names.
This is Ronald Coleman, inviting you to radio's most dramatic half hour, Favorite Story. All mankind loves a good story. I guess the business of storytelling began when the first ancient hunter told his fellow cave dwellers of his hunting and fishing exploits. No doubt exaggerating a little, as some of us are inclined to do. And this very day, in the cities of the Near East, you may see the storytellers in the bazaars and in the marketplaces, spinning wondrous tales inherited from centuries past. Still the audiences gather and are held spellbound. The age-old tales of a fascination for all of us. Yet it's the new story we search for, the fresh angle, the unexpected. And, of course, that's particularly true here in Hollywood. That's my favorite story welcomes the choice of producer-director Michael Curtiz, who brought to the screen such favorites as Life with Father, Mildred Pierce, and Casablanca, for which he won the coveted Academy Award. And his choice, written by Arthur Wister Mays, has the happy quality of surprise. It revolves around a single copper penny. One of radio's best-known young actors, Jack Webb, will tell us the story. We're ready then for Act One of The Copper Penny.
Look, get this straight right away. I'm not the kind of a guy you'd invite over for dinner to meet your eligible daughter. I'm a broken-down newspaper man who couldn't hold a job in any city bigger than a cow pasture. So, I'm back where I began. Wilmot, Ohio. Believe me, brother, you need better than 20/20 vision to find this burg on a map. Wilmot, Ohio. Just a minute. Hold it, will you? Let's cut out the hearts and flowers, huh? If that's supposed to be a musical description of this town, you've got the wrong place, mister. Tell me, where do people get the idea that just because a town is small, that means that nothing goes on but prayer meetings and nature being lovely? We've got almost as much corruption as a big city. Well, you got the idea. I'm the cold potato you couldn't squeeze a tear out of. I knock out copy for a punk little newspaper in my hometown, and nothing affects me. Nothing. Excuse me a minute, will you? Yeah, this is the newspaper. This is Jack Hudson. If you got any news fancier than a long social, I got a pencil and an open mind, so what's your story? Oh. You're kidding. Oh, that's awful. That's terrible. I guess that's the worst news you could give me in this town. What? Sure, we'll write it up. I don't know how exactly, but I'll get out the story. The story. And I gotta write it. So you put a sheet of paper in a typewriter and... What do you say? You can't say it. Shakespeare and Ernest Hemingway rolled together couldn't say it. How's a man gonna write something about this and put it next to the ad for the meat market? All you can do is remember. About Ben and a penny in the courtroom. And suddenly your memory begins to do nip-ups. And you remember when you were a kid and you walked over to the library and met Ben for the first time.
Hello, son.
Is this what they call the library?
That's what they call it.
What do you sell here?
Sell? Why, we don't sell anything.
Yeah? Then what's the deal?
Why don't you walk around and just see what strikes your fancy?
I'm not sure I want to.
Door opens both ways. You can come in or out anytime you want.
The guys that hang around the railroad yard say anybody comes in here is a sissy. I wouldn't want any of them to see me in here.
That's so. Well, maybe they've got a point. I guess a library's not a place for a man who uses a fist all the time. Railroad yard's a good place to exercise your muscles. In here, lad, we exercise our souls.
You're sort of crazy.
Yeah, I've heard that said before, too. Now, come here a second, boy. Let me introduce you to a few other maniacs. On this shelf, we have a young fellow who was plumb up his mind. Name of Shakespeare. One of these fine days, you ought to meet him face to face. Right now, I think you ought to meet another crazy fool. You're, about 12, I'd say. Right?
12 and a half, going on 13.
Mm-hmm. Young fella, shake hands with Mark Twain. Whole bookshelf here, designed for 12 and a half-year-olds. Going on 13.
He belonged in the library, I guess, just as much as the World Almanac did, or Robinson Crusoe. Ben had a way of leading you to something when you were ripe for it. You looked at Ben and you remembered how he kind of steered you, so you didn't know you were steered at all, to the Knights of the Round Table, to Ivanhoe and David Copperfield. And suddenly, life stopped being narrow and small towns. Suddenly, your mind expanded beyond the railroad yards. And you were Huck Finn, rolling down the Mississippi River. You were going out to fight in shining armor for the lovely Rebecca. You were the king of the Golden River, and Marco Polo at the court of Kubla Khan. Maybe that's why I always wanted to be a writer, but I never was. Just a newspaper hack who couldn't hold on to a job in Cleveland or Columbus or St. Louis or Detroit or any place. And so I came back where I started from, back to Wilmot, with my tail between my legs. And I went to see the only person in town I gave two hoots about, Ben.
Jack, how are you, boy? I'm very glad to see you again.
Why, Ben? Why are you glad to see me?
Because you're one of my boys. Tell me, have you written a book yet? A great war novel?
No, Ben, no. I haven't written anything. Just traffic accident reports and obituaries, and I didn't write them good enough to hang onto a job. I've been canned all over the map. I'm a big nothing.
Oh, not with what you've got inside your head. Jack, you need me help. Can I do anything?
Thanks, Ben. Thanks a lot. I got my old job back on my local paper.
Oh, that's fine. It'll be good having you back in town.
Even though I'm a big flop?
Oh, no flop. You don't have to go running 1,000 miles away to amount to anything. Why, look at me. I'm a long way from being the Librarian of Congress or anything else worth a second look, but along comes today. And you know what today is?
What, Ben?
40 years that I've been here as librarian. And they're going to celebrate. The town's giving me a banquet tonight with all the trimmings. The mayor, the head of the Chamber of Commerce. Why, look at me, son, and stop moaning. All my life I've been a big nobody, too. But tonight, I'm the toast of the town. I'm glad you're here. You've got to come to that banquet.
Well, I went. I stood in the back of the big old drafty city hall to give a listen to what went on. To watch the whole town pay honor to Ben. Arthur Henderson, the head of the Chamber of Commerce, got up and banged on the table.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're here tonight to pay honor to a fine citizen, our librarian, Ben Carter.
Arthur Henderson, of all people. Henderson hadn't read a book all the way through in his life.
My friends, citizens of Wilmot, we're here tonight to commend and honor Ben Carter for his trustworthiness, his honesty.
Stop kidding.
And so I give you your friend and mine, Ben Carter. Ben, as president of the Chamber of Commerce, I am proud to present you with this plaque to Ben Carter for 40 years of honesty. Now, don't just stand there, Ben. Say something.
All I can say is...
Ben, don't run out like that. We want to hear a speech from you. Where are you going, Ben? Don't let him go, folks. I guess we should have expected this. The old fellow's just overcome by emotion.
Overcome by emotion, my left elbow. What's the matter with you people? Don't you have any sense? Why don't you give him a plaque for brushing his teeth or combing his hair? To Ben Carter, in grateful appreciation for combing his hair every day.
I don't understand.
No, you wouldn't. This town doesn't deserve a man like Ben Carter.
Ben, are you okay?
Sure, Jack. Did you see this plaque?
Yeah.
It was nice of them to give it to me, wasn't it? Look at what it says. It says, To Ben? I guess I was wrong this afternoon, boy. Meet another big nothing. Now, please go away. Please.
Years of lighting candles in people's minds, and all they could honor him for was his honesty. I guess Ben didn't sleep much that night, and the next morning he walked around the library half in a daze, and then he heard the door open and went back to the desk.
Morning, Mr. Carter. Oh, hello, Mr. Elwood. How's your daughter?
Oh, much better, Mr. Carter. She enjoys Little Women. I finished reading it to her this morning.
Made her cry.
Oh, dear.
What's wrong?
This book was due yesterday, the 27th. This is the 28th. I guess I will find.
But that's just a penny, Mr. Elwood.
Here you are.
Thank you, Mr. Elwood. Come again. Glad your daughter's better.
Alone again, in the emptiness of the library. The guard's down with that penny in his hand, and the whole feeling came back, filling up his throat. Henderson, and that plaque, and that stupid speech. His fingers closed on the penny. He put the rubber stamp back to the day before and stamped the book. Returned, the 27th. And then he glanced down at the coin again.
So I'm honest. Why, I'm as much of a criminal as the Billy the Kid or the James boys.
And then slipped the penny into his pocket. You wouldn't think a single penny could raise a ruckus, would you? But it did. It turned this whole blasted town inside out. A penny. A single copper penny.
We're ready for Act Two of the favorite story of the well-known director-producer, Mr. Michael Curtiz. An ancient Latin who lived way back in the year 200 A.D. had something to say about a storm in a saucepan, which through the years developed into the popular expression we use nowadays for any minor incident that creates a turmoil, a tempest in a teapot. In the little well-remembered library, a man with a soul has stolen a single penny. And we hardly need a barometer to know that in the little teapot town of Wilmont, a tempest is brewing. Here's Act Two of The Copper Penny. A penny. A Lincoln head. E pluribus unum, it said. 1 cent. United States of America, vintage 1920. Nothing fancy about it. 1 penny. Good for weighing yourself, or buying a stick of gum, or for keeping a book called Little Women 1 day extra. And not much else, unless, of course, you have a barrel full of them. Wilmont's a small town, and nothing much happens there. But that afternoon, they had their first big story since the courthouse burnt down in 1902.
All right, everybody, quiet down. No reason to get excited.
What's the story, Sheriff?
There's been a murder, that's all. Old man Highgate's dead.
I knew it.
All right, clear out of here, everybody.
When did it happen, Sheriff?
Coroner says about 2 hours ago.
Sheriff, if Highgate's been killed, I know who did it.
You do? Who did it?
Well, I live right next door to Tim Elwood. I don't like him. Spends all his time with his nose in a book.
What about him?
Well, old man Highgate came by last night to collect the rent. I guess Elwood didn't have the money, and there was a big argument. Elwood told Highgate to shut up, that his daughter was sick. Highgate kept on screaming. Then I heard Elwood say, "You get away or I'll kill you."
Well, thanks a lot. I needed a piece of information like that. All right, Albert, don't play dead.
Why would I kill him?
Plenty of reasons. You're broke, out of a job.
I told you before, Sheriff. I wasn't near Highgate's place this morning.
Then where were you between 10 and 11?
How many times do I have to tell you? I was home reading to my kid. She's sick. I read her the last couple of chapters of Little Women.
Great. You don't expect us to believe that, do you?
Why not?
Okay, so you were reading. Did you go out at all this morning?
Yes, about 20 after 11, I walked over to the library and returned the book.
That'll be easy enough to check on. What was the name of that book again?
Little Women by Louisa May Alcott.
I think I'll go visit the library, Elwood. Just like you did, eh? Open up, Carter.
Library's closed, but I'll be happy. Why, Sheriff, first time I ever saw you around the library. I didn't know you were reading.
I'm not. Now, cut out the small talk and show me where you keep a book called Little Women.
What do you want to see that for?
Never mind, just show it to me. Where do you keep it?
Right here, under A. Okay, there we are.
Is your only copy of this here book?
Yes.
All right, now, Carter, show me where you mark down when the book is returned.
Well, right here. But, Sheriff, there's something I want to...
Keep quiet, will you? Right here, huh? Well, just what I thought. A man's lying. This book was returned on the 27th, yesterday. What kind of idiot does this man take us for?
Sheriff, no.
That's all, Carter. Thanks for your trouble. If you don't mind, I'm going to take this book. We got a murderer on our hands, and we know how to tend to him.
Well, Ben just stood there, with the inside of his head like a merry-go-round. I guess this was the first time Louisa May Alcott got mixed up in a murder. He looked all around him, and for one time in his life, nothing on the bookshelf seemed to be of any help. Not Emerson, not Whitman, certainly not Edna St. Vincent Millay. Ben suffered a lot, suffered in silence in the weeks that followed, not knowing what to do. Everybody in town was there in that courtroom to watch the circus. I remember seeing Ben slip in quietly, not saying a word to anybody. He'd put on his best black tie, knit muffler. I knew he felt inside him that he was on trial. He hardly seemed to be breathing there on the back bench. I tried to catch his eye, but he just stared forward. And then the judge came.
The Randolph County Court is now in session. We shall continue the case of the state versus one Timothy Elwood. All right, Mr. Prosecutor.
Will Timothy Elwood take the stand?
Do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
I do.
Sit down, please. We have already heard from our former witnesses that you outwardly threatened the life of the late Jeffrey Highgate, that you owed him a considerable amount of money. Now, Mr. Elwood, we should like to establish your exact whereabouts on the morning of the murder. Where were you on the morning of March 28th of this calendar year?
I was at my home, 326 North Sycamore Street here in Wilmot.
I see. Now, according to the testimony of the county coroner, the murder of Mr. Highgate occurred between the hours of 10 and 11 of the morning of the 28th at the Highgate Hope, a mile and a quarter distant from yours. Exactly where were you? What were you doing at that time?
My daughter's been ill for some time. I was reading her a book.
A book? Would you tell us the name of this book, please?
Little Women by Louisa May Alcott.
I see. Did you own this book personally, or had you borrowed it from the library?
It was a library book. Your Honor, my daughter could tell you that I'd read her the last few chapters that morning, but she's very sick now in the county hospital. You've got to believe me. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I didn't do it.
Silence in the court. Silence. There will be no further emotional displays, if you please. Answer the questions at hand. Continue, Mr. Prosecutor.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Elwood, you claim you finished reading that book on that morning.
Yes.
What did you do with the book then?
About 11:15, 11:20, I walked over to the library and returned it.
On the morning of March 28th?
Yes.
Your Honor, I should like to introduce into the testimony of this trial Exhibit A, the book in question. Mr. Elwood, to your knowledge, is this the book? The book you returned on March 28th?
Yes. Yes, I think it is.
Mr. Elwood, would you open the book and read aloud from the borrowed and return slip in the back of this volume the date that it was actually returned?
March 27th.
Your Honor, I have something important to say.
Mr. Carter, You're out of order.
Maybe I am, Henry. I mean, Your Honor, but the whole thing's out of order.
Ben, if you've got some evidence to submit, do it through the proper channels. The prosecutor will call you as a witness.
It can't wait for all that. Now listen to me, everybody. Tim Elwood's right. That book wasn't returned until the 28th.
But it says the 27th.
I changed it. I deliberately changed it.
Changed it? What for?
I changed it. I changed it, Your Honor, so that I could steal the fine.
What did the fine amount to?
The book was 1 day overdue. The fine was a penny. 1 penny.
No. Why, Ben? I sat in the city hall and watched you being honored for 40 years of honesty. Why would anybody want to steal a penny?
I did it. I did it if you don't understand why I did it, I can't explain it to you. And now, if you don't mind, I'd like to return something to the citizens of this community. Something that belongs to them. And at the same time, I wish to resign as librarian. Here you are, Your Honor. It's a penny.
Story? Well, Tim Elwood was released. Some tramp finally confessed to the killing. And Ben, he never went near the library again. You know, some people pine away because of a gal. I guess Ben got a broken heart, too. He missed the great, wonderful living warmth of that library. He missed helping out the 12-and-a-half-year-olds, going on 13. They just called me up to tell me that Ben Carter's dead. And how can I write this story? How can I put down a cold obituary about a guy like Ben Carter? It can't be said. Maybe we'll just print it this way. An editorial on the front page. When we were very young, we suddenly sailed beyond the limits of this town. The whole world suddenly belonged to us because of very... Oh, no. No good. Can't say anything fancy about Ben. Not even Shakespeare. Shakespeare didn't say something. I see. Here. Here, in Hamlet. Yeah, here. We'll print this. He was a man. We shall not look upon his like again.
Ben Carter, a man to remember whenever we look at a bookshelf or step into the living warmth of a library. And, of course, every time we look at the copper penny. The copper penny was the favorite story choice of producer-director Michael Curtiz. As always, our story was dramatized and directed by Lawrence and Lee. Our congratulations to Jack Webb, who played the reporter, and to Herb Butterfield, who was Ben. I'll return in a moment with a word about next week's favorite story.
Sound off for Chesterfield. Chesterfield is best for you. First cigarette with premium quality in both regular and king size. Chesterfield brings you Dragnet.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. you're assigned a burglary detail. A string of safe burglaries breaks out in your city. In the past 2 months, 35 safes have been broken into. You know there's more than one man in the operation. You've got no lead to the thieves' identity. Your job? Get him.
Years ahead of them all.
Chesterfield is years ahead of them all.
The quality contrast between Chesterfield and other leading brands is a revealing story.
Recent chemical analyses give an index of good quality for the country's 6 leading cigarette brands. The Index of Good Quality table, which is a ratio of high sugar to low nicotine, shows Chesterfield quality highest.
Chesterfield quality highest.
15% higher than its nearest competitor.
Chesterfield quality highest.
31% higher than the average of the 5 other leading brands.
Yes, Chesterfield is first, with premium quality in both regular and king size.
Don't you want to try a cigarette with a record like this? Chesterfield.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Tuesday, August 18th. It was warm in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of burglary detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Thad Brown, chief of detectives. My name's Friday. It was 1:34 p.m. when we got to the second floor of the Central Jail building, the crime lab.
Couldn't sleep last night. Faye and I had another beef.
Oh, what about this time?
Cards, you know, canasta.
Yeah?
Folks next door came over after dinner and we got to playing. They play real good.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't long before we were really getting schlocked.
What?
You know, schlocked. Beaten.
Oh.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Last hand, they go down right away, Joe. Seemed like everything I threw them they could use. Picked up everything. I couldn't do anything right. Just kept building up mells, they did. Big thing for us was to get out as quick as we could. You know, get the hand over with.
Yeah.
Faye wasn't doing any good. Finally, I still don't know how they let it happen. I got enough points to go down, so I asked Faye if it's okay.
Uh-huh.
You have to do that, you know, ask your partner's permission to get the hand over.
Yeah.
You know that?
Well, I've played it a couple of times. Yeah, with you, remember?
Oh, that's right. Well, you might not believe it, but you know what she said? No. Just sat there and said she didn't think it was time.
Is that right?
Yeah. I know it's kind of picky, but there they were, the other kids just piling up points, schlocking us all over the place.
Schlocking.
Yeah, hand went around a couple of more times. Each time I ask Faye if she wants to get out. Each time, you know what she says?
No.
That's it. No.
Well, what finally happened?
Oh, the other folks ran out of cards. Wasn't any more play, so they got out. 3,600 points. And I found out why Faye didn't want to quit.
Why?
Had a deuce.
What?
A deuce, a 2, you know?
Yeah.
Well, she said she didn't want to get caught with it.
Yeah, well, we better get started, huh?
Wait a minute, that's not the worst of it, let me tell you.
All right.
All night we're playing, see, all night. I'm saving cards, you know, I like tens. Like to get tens. I save tens.
Yeah, I guess everybody saves tens.
Well, I save more than other guys. We get all through, and you know what? We find out there are only 7 tens in the deck. One of them's missing. All night, there's 7 tens.
Well, that's dreadful.
Well, I tell you.
You were schlocked.
Schlocked.
Didn't sleep a wink.
Friday?
Yeah, right.
Back here. Girls out to lunch. Come on back.
Hi, how's it going, Ray?
Moving around, that's about all. Hot out, huh?
Yeah, paper says it's going to go over 90 today.
Too hot for me.
Yeah. Well, how you coming on the job this morning?
Just finishing up. Looks like the rest of them.
Yeah.
Got some pictures here. Take a look. Here's pictures of the marks they left on the door this morning.
Mm-hmm.
See those 2 long scratches on the wood?
Yeah, here?
Yeah, now, over here, here's a picture from the Argosy Manufacturing Company's door.
Mm-hmm.
See? Yeah. Same 2 marks. Pretty safe bet to figure that both doors were open with the same pry bar.
Yeah, same type of entrance made this time, huh?
Yeah, just the 1 mark on the door. You know what they're doing. Insert the bar, hit it once, and the door opens.
Mm-hmm. How about the safe? What do you got on that, Ray?
Here. This is the picture we got of the room, same as the others. Standard rip job, nothing different there.
How about marks?
No, help there. Here's the pictures. Looks like the same tool that was used on the other jobs.
Did you find anything else, Ray?
No. At least nothing that helps. Leighton Prince picked up a couple from the safe, belonged to the manager of the place. Nothing else that gives us anything.
No, I'd say that was the same bunch.
Yeah, either that or they're lending their tools to the boys in the neighborhood.
Yeah, well, that isn't likely. Cigarette, Ray?
Yeah, thanks.
Right?
Here's the light. Ray?
Thanks. Really leaning on you guys for this one, huh?
Yeah, Skipper's taking a lot of heat.
What's this make for him? 34, 35?
35. 6 months.
Got any nearer to him?
No, not much.
Got anything to tell how many men there are?
It'd be hard to say for sure. The way they work figures about 3 or 4, maybe.
Yeah, that's the way it looks.
Take that number to pull off the operation as smooth as they're doing it, though, Ray.
You got anything at all to work on?
Well, we checked around town. There aren't any rumbles. One of the tightest gangs that we've seen in a long time. Doesn't seem like anybody outside knows what's going on.
We checked the places around. Nobody's spending a lot of money they can't account for.
How much did they take so far?
Well, what they got this morning, let's see, it comes to a little under $36,000, doesn't it, Frank?
Yeah. What about you, Ray? You turn up anything we can use?
Nothing that points anyplace. We know how they got in, how they hit the safe. That isn't going to help much. Same MO as the others. You haven't got any idea who they are, huh?
No, nothing.
Had any idea who they are, we could maybe use the anthracene on their tools.
That's great. We got to find the tools before we use that. We got no idea where they plant them.
Mm-hmm. Seems that one of your informants would be able to come up with something on it.
Yeah, you'd think so. We've checked them all, Ray. No leads to the gang. Doesn't seem there's anybody in town that knows who they are.
Anybody new operating around?
No, we checked that out, too. We had the stats office make so many runs that they're wearing out the cards. MO isn't new. It's been used before, but all the possibles have been checked out. Stuff from Brereton up at CII, the other lead from the APBs, they've all been cleared. Now, we got just what we started with, the gang working when they want to, where they want to, and there's nothing we can do about it.
Well, I wish there was more I could do to help out.
Yeah.
I got to get back to work. Got some precipitant test homicide wants this afternoon.
Yeah, well, we'll see you later, Ray.
Right. You want this stuff booked?
Yeah, we'll take care of it.
Okay. Excuse me a minute.
Yeah.
Crime lab, Pinker. Yeah? Yeah, they're both here. Which one? Yeah, hold on. Joe?
Yeah?
You, office.
Thanks. Friday. Oh, yeah, Chandler. Uh-huh. Wendy called. Yeah, well, what's that number? 44? Right. Yeah, I'll call him right away. Right. Bye.
Chandler, huh?
Yeah, Don Jackson called, said he wanted to get in touch with us.
Jackson? Doesn't ring any bells.
It's the guy we pinched last month. Remember? Looked like the guy who was in on the service station jobs.
Oh, yeah, I remember. Guy with the waxed mustache, huh?
Mm-hmm. Hello. Don Jackson? Well, could I speak to him, please? Don, it's Joe Friday. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, it's 1:47 now. Take us about 10 minutes. How about 2? All right, fine. Yeah, we know where it is. Right. We'll see you there. All right, bye.
What's he want?
He wants to see us about the rip jobs.
Yeah?
Says he's got a rumble on him. Don Jackson had been a suspect in a series of service station burglaries we'd investigated. He'd been picked up and interrogated, but investigation showed that he couldn't have been involved in the thefts. Since he'd been released, we'd heard nothing from him, and as far as we knew, he'd gone back to his job in a downtown clothing store. From what he told me on the phone, he had some information about the current series of safe burglaries. 1:48 p.m. Frank and I left the crime lab and drove over to the store where Jackson worked. He managed to get relieved, and he took us to a small coffee shop near the store. We sat down and ordered some coffee, and Jackson told us what he knew about the burglaries.
Now, I could be wrong about this. I don't think so. But outside it could be.
Uh-huh. Donnie, you got any one reason for figuring that the Scott fella's tied in with the jobs?
Well, nothing I can put my finger on, you know. Just that the guy's never done a full day's work in his life. Don't think he knows what a callus is. Yet he's always loaded, always got a roll. It's real, too. Not like them you see sometimes with a big bill on the outside and ones in the middle. Now, this guy's loaded, you know.
Yeah. Where'd you meet him?
Well, I was sitting in a bar down the street one night, having a belt before dinner. We got to talking, ended up eating together that night.
You remember when this was, Don, when you first met him?
Well, let me see. Yeah, it was the day I got the trench coat from England. Now, let me see. That make it about August 4th. Yeah, it was the night I got the coat. Come to think of it, that's what got us a-talking, the coat.
I don't understand.
Well, you see, I got this here coat. I had it sent over from England. It's a real beauty. All kinds of linings and wind straps in the sleeves. It's great, you know.
Uh-huh.
Well, I had him send this coat to the store. Got down the 4th. I had it with me that night. And Scotty noticed it, and we got to talking about clothes and went to dinner. He asked me how much the coat cost. I told him run about 40, maybe $50. He asked me if I could get one for him, and I told him sure. It'd take a couple of weeks.
Uh-huh.
Well, he asked me to send a letter to my friend Airmail Special and ask him to send the coat over by express. I told him I would, and then he asked me if I wanted to pay me then.
Yeah.
I told him no, wait until I knew just how much the coat was going to run. You know, duty and postage and all that.
Yeah, I know.
Well, he said that'd be okay with him. I saw him a couple of times after that, and every time he'd ask about the coat, I told him that was in the works, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, finally got the coat. It was beautiful. Never saw the guy again. I'm out $46. Crummy Scott, he'll leave me with that coat. My own money, too. $46. I don't make enough to lose that kind of money, you know.
Well, that's too bad, Jackson. But why do you figure this Scott had anything to do with the burglaries?
Well, now, I just told you. For one thing, the money. Always had a lot, but I never had a job. No place to get the money. Not only that, but one night, well, I saw him. We were going out to dinner. And he said he couldn't quite make it then. That something had come up. That he had to take a rain check, you know.
Uh-huh.
Well, I asked him what had come up, what was so important. He said he had to see a guy over in East L.A., some sort of a business deal.
You say what this deal was about?
No, he wouldn't say. The next day he shows up loaded. Got to roll on and choke a horse. Now, I asked him where to get it. I kid him about being one of the guys who ripped the safe in the Argosy plant.
What did he say to that?
Nothing. Just got real serious, you know. Asked me why I asked him that. What made me think he was in on the job. I kept telling him I didn't know anything about it. I was just kidding. He finally bought it and said it was okay, but he said I shouldn't go around saying things like that.
All right, go ahead.
Well, I got the coat and looked Scotty up to give it to him. Wouldn't pay for it. They lost the coat thing up or something. I don't know, sent the wrong size, and I'm stuck with it. He wouldn't have anything to do with it. I figured since I ordered it for him, it ain't my fault that it's big. He should pay for it, you know, $46. Now, any way you look at it, I laid out the dough. I figured he should make good on it. He wouldn't do it. And I got sore, and I figured that maybe you'd like to know how he acted about the Argosy job. Lousy bum. $46 that coat cost.
You know where the Scott lives?
No, I haven't got the slightest idea. But I got his phone number, though. I'll give you that.
Can you give us a description on him?
Sure, he's a sneaky little guy. No wonder the coat won't fit. Little bitty guy, you know.
Yeah. Now, you say his full name is Leonard Scott, is that right?
Yeah, crummy bum. I hope you get him.
Well, we'll talk to him, Don.
If he knows something about it, I'll bet money on it he knows. Say, I don't like to bring this up, but you guys could do me a big favor, you know.
What's that?
No, I don't suppose you could.
What is it, Don?
You know anybody could use a size 52 trench coat?
We continued to talk to Don Jackson. We got the description of Leonard Scott and his phone number. 3:15 p.m., we drove back to the city hall and checked the name through R&I. We came up with several possibles. The mug shots were pulled on them, and they were shown to Jackson. He was able to identify one of them as the man he'd told us about. The suspect had a record for burglary and had served 2 terms in the state penitentiary at San Quentin. He'd served his full term and was not on parole. We checked the last address on his convict registration card, and we found that he lived in a rooming house on West 11th Street. The phone number he'd given Jackson was the same as the one on the registration card. We drove over to talk to him. We found that he wasn't in his room, and from the landlady we learned that he was expected back around 7 that evening. We checked his room in company with the landlady, and then we called the office and told them where we were in the event they had to contact us. We waited in the living room of the house for the suspect to return. 7:15 p.m.
Sure.
Yeah. He matches the description, doesn't he? Come on. Just a minute. You Leonard Scott?
Yeah. Who are you?
Police officers like to talk to you.
What's this all about?
Be better if we went up to your room.
Oh. All right, come on up. Can't you give me some idea what this is all about?
We'll talk to you about it.
Go ahead. Open the door.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, what's the pitch?
You've been through it before. You're an ex-con. You know the pitch.
You tell us what you do for a living?
I work.
Doing what?
I'm a salesman.
What do you sell?
Different things. What's all this prove? You guys coming in here making like big men? I'm going straight. I work for a living. Now either tell me what this is all about or get out of here.
You remember what you were doing on August 4th?
It's a long time ago.
You remember what you were doing?
You have to think about it. It's a long time ago.
All right, you take your time. We like to know.
August 4th, huh?
Yeah.
No, sorry, fellas. Can't remember a thing.
How about the 5th?
Same there?
6th?
Nothing.
How about the 7th of August?
Oh, I can give you a hand there. I had a dinner with a friend, and we went to a show. Had a few drinks after, and then I came home.
Who's the friend?
Fella I know.
What's his name?
Why I got to tell you that?
We got to check your alibi.
What do I need an alibi for? I haven't done anything. My time's clean. I got nothing to explain to you.
Now, maybe you can clear up a few things for us.
I would like to help the cops out. What do you want to know?
How come you remember what you were doing on August 7th? You got trouble with time before then, haven't you?
What's so important with the dates? Maybe if you tell me what you're after, I can help you out. You quit being cagey, maybe I can come up with the answers.
The Argosy manufacturing plant had their safe ripped open on that night. You look good for the job.
Oh, you're out of your mind.
Yeah, we got a witness who tells us you showed up with a pocket full of money the next day.
You've fallen twice before for burglary.
You can't account for your time before or after the date, but you happen to have an alibi for the night of the heist.
You got no steady job, but you got plenty of money. Now, come off it, Scott. We got you nailed for the jobs, and you know it. You got a choice of giving us a hand on this thing. It'll be marked down in your favor, or you can be a big man and stand for this thing alone. It's up to you. We'll play it any way you want. You figure you can make me for the job? Looks like it won't be too tough.
You're in the middle, Scott. Why don't you cop out?
What do I get for turning pink?
I told you to be marked down that way. How about it, Scott?
All right, I guess I got to go with you. I wasn't in on the jobs. I didn't really have anything to do with the casing. I helped a little bit. Not much, just a little.
Where'd you figure in it?
Once I worked as a lookout for them.
Who are they?
I can give you the names. I'd like to see you get them, lousy bunch. Hope you get them good. Make every one of them lousy bums the way they treated me.
What do you mean by that?
Big deal. Had the cops running around in circles. Big deal. Nothing. Work along with them. Everything will be fine. Big deal.
How many of them are there?
4. 4 real bums. They said they were going to take care of me. They told me I'd get my share of the money. Lousy liars. One job I was with them. After that, they told me I hadn't done enough to earn my way, that I wasn't any help to anybody.
Well, next time you see them, you can tell them.
Yeah?
They were wrong. We got the names of the 4 men who were involved in the burglaries. We took Leonard Scott down to the city hall and pulled the packages on the 4 suspects. He gave us a positive identification on them. We checked with Captain Wisdom, and it was decided to wait until we could catch the suspects in the actual attempt to commit a burglary. We checked out the address of the 4 suspects and got as much information as we could on them without letting them know that they were under surveillance. Additional teams of men were assigned to the stakeout. Each of them was watched 24 hours a day, and each of the teams of detectives were in constant contact with the burglary division. 2 days passed. None of the suspects made any attempt to make contact with the others. We met with the district attorney, and it was decided that in the interest of bringing the gang to justice, the first suspect, Leonard Scott, should be released from custody to act as an informant for us. He would be kept under constant surveillance. Frank and I were assigned to follow him. In the next 3 days, he went about his business as usual. Each evening, he'd leave his rooming house and walk through the bars in the downtown area. He told us that contact and information regarding the burglaries was made by the leader of the gang, one of the suspects named Howard Ramsey. On Monday, August 24th, we saw Ramsey approach Leonard Scott. They talked briefly in the rear of a bar on 6th Street, and then Ramsey left. We waited for about 15 minutes, and then we saw Scott leave the bar. We followed him down the street to an all-night coffee stand. We sat down next to him at the counter, and at the first opportunity, he told us what Ramsey had said.
You guys haven't got long to wait.
What'd he say?
Deal's set. It's going to be a machine shop out in West L.A. Rumble is the safe has over 25 grand in it. Biggest job they've tackled.
He say how it's going to work?
Yeah, I'll fill you in on it. Thought you might want to get in touch with your office, so.
How's that?
They're going to work tonight.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action.
Don't you want to try a cigarette with a record like this?
Chesterfield, first to give you premium quality in both regular and king size.
Chesterfield, first choice of young America. From a survey of 274 leading colleges and universities.
Chesterfield, first to give you this report.
A doctor has been making thorough examinations of a group of Chesterfield smokers every 2 months for a full year. And he reports no adverse effects to the nose, throat, and sinuses from smoking Chesterfield. Try Chesterfield, regular or king size. Chesterfield is America's best cigarette buy.
"9:32 p.m. We got the rest of the story from Leonard Scott. The plan, as he outlined it for us, was that the 4 other suspects would not meet until they were at the plant that was to be burglarized. We got in touch with the men who were following the suspects and told them what had happened. 10:07 p.m. We met with Captain Wisdom and put the operating plan into effect. It had been arranged that all of the men following the suspects would be in 3-way radio cars so that constant communication could be kept between the units of the operation. Additional officers were planted on the roofs of the buildings surrounding the plant to be burglarized.
These men would be equipped with walkie-talkies so they could keep in constant touch with each other and with us in a three-way radio car. In this way, we could direct operations, and we'd have a complete picture of what was happening in the immediate vicinity. A blockade system was set up to be put into operation once the suspects had entered the trap so that escape would be impossible. 11:45 p.m. The plan was completed, and the men involved were in their assigned positions. We followed Leonard Scott to his rooming house, and he changed to his working clothes. He came out of his house, and we followed him out the freeway to Hollywood. From there, he drove out Sunset Boulevard to Whittier Drive in Beverly Hills, and then he went out Wilshire Boulevard toward West L.A. As we drove, we could hear the other units reporting the position of the men that they were following. All of the suspects left their homes at approximately the same time, and it looked as if they would get to the plant within a couple of minutes of the scheduled time. Scott had told us that they would not meet at the plant, but they'd rendezvous at a drive-in a couple of blocks from the plant. There, they would be given their instructions. 2:16 a.m., the 5 cars pulled into the drive-in, and after a brief conversation, they all left and drove toward the plant. 2:23 a.m., all the police units got into their positions as arranged. Frank and I took up our position, and we listened to the reports coming in over the radio.
Unit 1KY80, Unit 1KY80, Rubles, come in.
Unit 1KY80 to Rubles, go ahead.
I'm on the roof of the building directly across the street from the factory, Joe. I can see the suspects now.
How many of them are there?
I can see 3. I think there's a couple more at the corner as lookouts. Hey, Donovan's down the block. Maybe he can see the others.
Unit 1KY80 to Donovan. Come in, please. Over.
This is Donovan. Yeah, there's one of them on the corner down here. He drove up and got out to take a look at the motor of his car. He's over there working on it now.
This Rubles, I can see another one at the other corner. He's changing a tire. Got the jack under the car, but he's not trying to get the wheel off. The others are at the factory door now. Do you see anything where you are, Joe?
Not much. Shadows across the street. I can't see the doorway. What are they doing now?
They're inside now. They forced the lock on the door and got inside. Door's closed. Now, I can't see him anymore, Joe.
All units, this is Friday in Unit 1KY80. All units move in to apprehend suspects. Repeat, move in to apprehend suspects. Units 2R4, 5, 6, and 7, and Unit 2R20 move to blockade positions. All right, let's go.
Right.
They got the place covered in back, okay?
Yeah, all covered.
All right. This ought to do it, huh?
Right.
All right, let's go.
Yeah. Well, I got the lookouts.
Yeah, I see. Well, let's take it easy, huh? See him?
No. There's a light back there. Looks like the office.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
All of them must be back there. Sounds like they're putting the bar into the back of the safe, doesn't it?
Yeah. Rubles?
All right, let's go.
They're in the office now. You want to move in from that side?
Right.
All right, let's go.
All right.
Come on, get on it. We haven't got all night. That safe's built like a sardine can. There's no reason to take this long.
We're doing the best we can. We got the 1005 that's giving us trouble.
Here, let me take a look.
All right, hold it right where you are.
Cops, let's get out of here.
Watch him, Joe.
I'll get him. Right. Come on, Ramsey. You got no place to go. The building's surrounded.
Back here, Joe.
Get out of here, cops. You're never going to take us.
Hold it up. Don't shoot anymore. I give up.
Come on, cops. Come on and get it.
He ain't talking for me. I've had it. I don't want any more shooting. I give up.
All right, throw your guns out here.
It's mine.
All right. Come on out of there. Get over there. Get your hands back of your head.
Stand right there and don't move.
I gave up, didn't I? I didn't want any more of it.
Come on, Ramsey. Your partner was smart. Why don't you play it that way, too?
You come and get me, cop. All right. You win. I'm out of shells. Don't shoot.
Throw that gun out here. All right, now come on out of there. Keep your hands back of your head. Come on, move. That's good right there.
All right.
Come on, Ramsey. Over there next to your partner. Now stand still, both of you. Put your hands against the wall.
Stand still or don't move.
All right, they're clean, Joe.
All right. There were 3 of them. Where's the other one?
I made a break for the front door. They got him out there.
Lousy luck all the way around. How'd you know? Who told you?
That doesn't make any difference.
Well, somebody had to tell you. You'd never find out if somebody hadn't told you.
Yeah, that's right. Come on, let's go now.
Well, who told you? Who turned Fink? Somebody had to tell you, didn't
Well,
he?
don't you worry about it, mister.
What do you mean?
You're going to have a lot of time to figure it out. Now, let's go.
The story you've just heard was true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On January 14th, trial was held in Department 89, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. In a moment, the results of that trial.
Now, here is our star, Jack Webb.
Thank you, George Fenneman. I'd like to talk to you people who don't smoke Chesterfields. I'm convinced that if you try just one carton, you'll find that they're best for you. They're milder, and they have a wonderful taste. Most important, they have premium quality in both sizes, regular or king size. So pick up that carton, will you? Chesterfields. Try them.
Howard Allen, Ramsey, Jack Irwin MacArthur, and the other two suspects were tried and convicted of 15 counts of burglary in the first degree. They received sentences as prescribed by law. Burglary in the first degree is punishable by imprisonment in the state penitentiary for a period of not less than 5 years. Because of his cooperation, Leonard James Scott was given a lighter sentence, and at the conclusion of his prison term was placed on probation for a period of 2 years.
Ladies and gentlemen, we wish to thank the editors of TV Guide for the cover picture and story on Dragnet. You can get TV Guide at your favorite newsstand.
Just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department. Technical advisors, Captain Jack Donahoe, Sergeant Marty Wynn, Sergeant Vance Frazier. Heard tonight were Ben Alexander, Olin Soule, Vic Perrin, Jack Crucian. Script by John Robinson. Music by Walter Schumann. Hal Gibney speaking.
For a million laughs, tune in Chesterfield's Martin and Lewis show, Tuesday on this same NBC station. And sound off for Chesterfields. Either regular or king size, you'll find premium quality Chesterfields much milder. Chesterfield is best for you.
Chesterfield has brought you Dragnet, transcribed from Los Angeles.
Now, new Fatima has the tip for your lips. Fatima tips of perfect cork. King size for natural filtering. Fatima quality for a much better flavor and aroma. So remember, new Fatima has the tip for your lips. Fatima. See how smooth they are.
Remember, Fatima is made by the makers of Chesterfield, Liggett & Myers, one of tobacco's most respected names. Sound off for Chesterfield. Chesterfield is best for you. First cigarette with premium quality in both regular and king size. Chesterfield brings you Dragnet.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you're about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to robbery detail. You get a call from the San Diego Police Department that 3 hold-up men are thought to be heading for your city. You know they're armed. You know they're dangerous. Your job? Get them.
Years ahead of them all.
Chesterfield is years ahead of them all.
The quality contrast between Chesterfield and other leading brands is a revealing story.
Recent chemical analyses give an index of good quality for the country's 6 leading cigarette brands. The index of good quality table, which is a ratio of high sugar to low nicotine, shows Chesterfield quality highest.
Chesterfield quality highest.
15% higher than its nearest competitor.
Chesterfield quality highest.
31% higher than the average of the 5 other leading brands.
Yes, Chesterfield is first with premium quality in both regular and king size.
Don't you want to try a cigarette with a record like this? Chesterfield.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Monday, October 5th. It was warm in Los Angeles. We were working the night watch out of robbery detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Didion. My name's Friday. I was on my way into the office, and it was 4:58 p.m. when I got to room 27A. Robbery. Hi, Murph. Seen Frank?
Yeah, he was here a couple of minutes ago. I think he went down the hall. Said he'd be right back.
Thanks. How the kids?
We're in the cycle again.
What do you mean?
The cold cycle.
Oh, yeah.
Oldest boy brings one home with him, gives it to his sister. Then it goes to the baby, then to the wife, and then to me. By the time I got it, the oldest boy's ready to catch it again from me. Doesn't seem to be any end to it.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Reading the other day where if you take care of a cold, take a lot of pills, stay in bed, you can shake it in a week.
All right.
Don't do anything special for it, and it'll take 7 days to get rid of it.
Joe? Got an APB here from San Diego. Boys down there really drew themselves a gem.
Yeah, can I take a look?
Yeah, here it is.
I can hear him moan all the way from here.
What is it?
Well, I had a jewel robbery at a hotel on the coast. 3 men took $135,000 in jewels and at least $15,000 in cash.
$150,000, huh? Any leads on them?
No, APB gives a description, list of the stolen jewelry. That's about all.
When did it happen?
It says 1:30 this morning.
Yeah, it's going to keep him busy for a while. That Mort's screaming like an eagle, Joe.
Why?
Well, I talked to him last week. Said he was going down to Mexico to do some fishing. Been saving days off for the last 3 months. Won't get to go now.
Yeah, I get it. Robbery, Friday. Yeah, go ahead. San Diego.
Huh?
Yeah, hi, Mort. Yeah, we got the APB. How's it going? Yeah. Uh-huh. When do you figure they left? Yeah. Okay, Mort, yeah. All right, we'll keep an eye open. Right. Bye.
What you got?
Well, Davis, Walk, and Hewen are coming up.
They're driving?
Yeah, they figure the hold-up men are heading this way. The early editions of the afternoon papers came out, and they carried the complete story. 3 men had entered the Carlton Surf Hotel at 1:30 a.m. All 3 were armed, and they forced the manager to open the safe. Inside the vault were the jewels and the other valuables that had been deposited with the management for safekeeping by the guests. After looting the safe, the 3 men had robbed 5 of the guests who had entered the lobby during the time that they'd been going through the safe. After taking all the money and valuables they could find, the 3 men forced the manager and the guests into a back storeroom of the hotel, and they locked them in. None of the victims could tell the San Diego officers what kind of a car had been used, but all of them were able to give good descriptions of the 3 men. The San Diego Police Department had been called, and the men from the Detective Bureau had begun an immediate investigation. From the phone conversation I'd had with Lieutenant Mort Gear, they had evidence to believe that the 3 men were heading up for Los Angeles. While the 3 detectives from the San Diego Department came to L.A., Lieutenant Gear, Sergeant Tony McGuire would continue the investigation down in their city. 11:12 p.m. Sergeants Carl Davis, Jerry Walk, and Pappy Hewen arrived at the city hall. They filled us in on what had happened.
The way the thing looked, it figured that someone who had either worked for the hotel or was working for it had engineered it.
How'd that check out?
The identification we got?
Yeah.
Virgil Russell worked for the hotel a year ago as a busboy in a dining room. All the victims gave a positive identification on him.
How about the other 2, Carl?
Nothing on him yet.
What made you figure they might be coming up here?
Well, Russell's got a record, checked his package, and found that he has a sister in San Diego. Checked her, and she gave us a lead.
Yeah.
Said her brother and 2 men came by the house early this morning. Her brother's been staying with her the past few weeks. Anyway, he came by this morning, packed his clothes, said he had to come up to L.A. on business.
Well, she have an address up here for him, Carl?
Not good. Said he told her he'd get in touch with her. He was staying with a friend place out on Olympic Boulevard.
Anything on that address?
Yeah, a package gave an address out there. Russell had listed a friend of his when he was arrested. We figured he might be out there. Got a good description of the car. One thing is going to help.
Yeah.
Sister told us that she asked her brother about the other 2 men. Wanted to know if they didn't want to come to the house.
Mm-hmm.
Russell said no, they were waiting for him. If the 3 of them were in a hurry, she couldn't give us a description of the other 2.
Well, what time this happened?
About 5:30 this morning.
Well, they came right up here. They'd get in about 8 then, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
You're pretty sure that these are the right ones now?
Looks like that. Identification of the mugs. Russell's sister told us when he was packing, a brooch fell out of his grip. She picked it up for him.
You have a description of it?
Yeah, matches one that was taken from the hotel in the theft. Large diamond with 4 rubies in the setting. Looked real good for the job.
Did you get a broadcast out on the car?
Yeah, Russell's sister told us it's a 53 Nash, red and black Continental hookup. She said Russell just got back from a trip through Arizona, Nevada, New Mexico. Said that he had the rear window covered with those stickers. You know, the ones they get from gas stations.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Window's supposed to be covered with them. Shouldn't be hard to spot.
Well, maybe he figures that, too. Might have him taken off, huh?
Possible. It's a lead, though. Something else to look out for.
Any chance he might have gotten across the border into Mexico?
Yeah, it's possible, but it isn't likely. As soon as we got word on the car, we got out a supplemental APB on it and got in touch with the authorities down the border. They said they hadn't seen a car that matched the description across the border.
Well, if they'd gotten to the border, the officers down there would know about it anyway.
Yeah, I talked to Al Gayton from our office. He said they'd be on the lookout for him.
Our pawn shop detail got right on it, Carl. We got the description of the jewelry out all over town. We haven't had any reports on it yet, though.
They aren't going to try to sell it piece by piece. Too many of those pieces are easy to recognize.
Yeah.
They'll probably try to peddle through a fence and have it broken up.
Well, we'll get the word out to our informants. Ask them to watch out for it.
Yeah. Heist that big can't be kept quiet for long. Bound to be rumbles on it someplace.
I'd like to check out the place on Olympic. It looks like it's the best lead we got.
Okay. We're walking here, you know.
Went down the hall with Murphy. Wanted to check some things at R&I.
Well, might as well get on out to Olympic, huh? You got the address?
Yeah, you better check the place first. Could be rough.
What do you mean?
Well, all 3 of them are armed. Russell served time twice before at the joint.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to want to go back.
We checked the name of Russell's friend through our files. We found that he had no record. We drove out to the address on Olympic and we talked with the neighbors. From them, we found out that it was not a private residence. We talked to the woman who lived next door. We asked her about the man listed in the San Diego package as a friend of the suspects. She told us she hadn't seen him. Directly in front of the rooming house, we found a car answering the description given us by the sister. There were no lights on in the rooming house. Walk and Hewen covered the rear of the place. Frank, Carl Davis, and I went up to the front door.
Pretty dark. I can't see anybody in there, can you?
No, I can't.
Check the window, see if I can spot anything.
Right, Carl.
Well, let's try the door.
Yeah.
Who is it?
Come on, open up.
Beat it. Nobody gets in here.
All right, Frank, let's hit it. All right, stand right where you are. Hold on.
I'm not doing anything. What are you doing breaking in
Get
here
your
like
hands
this?
out funny.
Sure.
I'll shake him, Joe. He's clean.
Everything okay?
Yeah, Carl.
I'll get walking you in.
Who else in the house?
Nobody but the landlady. She's upstairs. Her and her daughter. Nobody else here.
What's your name?
Pete Ellis.
Where's Russell?
I don't know any Russell.
All right, we'll look around. Come on. What's in there?
Dining room. There ain't nothing in there.
Open it up.
See? Nobody here.
No. All right, we'll check the other rooms. Where's this door go?
Bedroom. Ain't nobody in there.
Open it up.
Joe, nobody in the kitchen. Check the back porch. Walk and Davis are upstairs.
All right, we'll try this one here. Come on, you open it up.
It's locked. I can't get in.
There's a key in the door over here. Let's see if it fits.
Virgil! Virgil! Get out! Virgil, it's the cops! Get out!
All right, get out of the way, you. Come on, that's it.
Get out!
On the bed, Joe.
I see. All right, come on, you out of that bed.
Hey, Joe?
Yeah?
There's a bottle of sleeping pills on the table here.
Yeah, an empty bottle of whiskey. I guess he's dead drunk.
Upstairs is clean, Joe. Russell, huh?
Yeah, he's drunk. I guess we're pretty lucky. Under his pillow there?
Yeah.
3 guns. With the suspects in custody, we searched the house. In the back bedroom, where we'd found Virgil Russell, we found a folder with all of the newspaper stories of the hotel robbery. In each instance, that portion of the story which referred to the thieves themselves was outlined in pencil, and there were small notations along the margins of the newspaper. A complete search of the house netted us nothing. There was no sign of the loot from the robbery, although each of the suspects had a large amount of money in their possession. We talked to the landlady, but she was unable to tell us anything about the suspects. She said that she had rented a room to Peter Ellis over a year before, and that the suspect had moved out after living in the house for only 2 months. She said that she hadn't seen them again since that night when they arrived at the house and asked for rooms. We called the office and arranged for a stakeout on the place, and we took the 2 suspects back to the office. We ran Peter Ellis through R&I, and we found that he had 1 previous conviction on a robbery charge. 2:15 a.m. We talked to Virgil Russell in the interrogation room.
All right. I ain't trying to con you into anything. I was in on the heist, I'll admit it, but I ain't going to be no fink. You ain't gonna get any other names out of me.
You got the money we found on you from that hotel robbery, is that right?
I don't know where else it'd come from. I got no reason to con you about the hotel job. I pulled it. I ain't afraid to admit it. I'm just not turning think, that's all.
Maybe we can get it out of Ellis.
He won't tell you anything.
You're pretty sure about that. He admits he was in on the robbery.
Well, so what? We all had a deal. If any of us got caught, they wouldn't tell about the others.
You think Ellis and that other guy'd go that route, standing the arrest alone?
Sure. We had an agreement.
Oh, come on now. Tell us how much you got for the jewels. You can tell us that and not tell us who the other man is, can't you?
Yeah, I suppose so. Isn't there any way you could tell if I told you how much we got?
How much?
7,000.
How much?
7,000.
Who set up the deal to sell the stuff? Your partner?
Yeah, he handled all that.
He fixed it for you to get $7,000 for all the jewelry?
Yeah, that's right.
Well, you made a good deal, all right. 7,000 for $135,000 worth of jewelry.
Wasn't worth 135. That's just the papers, making it sound big.
No, Russell, you're wrong. That's what the stuff is worth.
Are you kidding?
You got that report, Frank?
Yeah.
Now, wait a minute. That's maybe what they claim the stuff is worth. But you know how people are always jacking things up on the insurance companies. The stuff was worth, well, maybe $15,000, not a cent more.
Yeah, Joe, here it is.
This report you got from the insurance company, Carl?
That's it.
Would you like to read it yourself, Russell, or do you want me to read it to you?
Well, let me see.
Uh-huh.
What a lousy bum. Oh, no good. He's a thief, that's what he is. A thieving thief.
That's the kind of a guy you say you had to deal with, huh? But you think he was doing you a big favor. Some deal, $7,000.
If we'd picked him up, he'd have screamed like an eagle.
He's your pal, all right.
What a no good thief. I can't believe it.
Who'd he sell the stuff to, do you know?
No, I don't, and that's the truth. I saw the guy, but I don't know who it was.
How'd the deal work?
Well, earlier tonight, we got together out in Westwood. He called the fellow who was going to handle the deal, told him to meet us there.
Who's he?
A Fink, a lousy Fink.
What's his name?
Payne, Al Payne.
I spell it. Last name.
P-A-Y-N-E.
You got a record?
No, I don't think so. I never heard him talk about it.
You give us a description?
Yeah. That stuff was really worth $135,000. He said it was a lot of talk, newspaper talk, he said. Oh, brother, what a laugh.
What's his Payne look like?
Oh, he's about 37, maybe 150, 60 pounds. Bald. A little bit of hair on the edge of his head.
I'll check the name through R&I, Joe.
Right. Do you want to bring the mugs back here?
Yeah. Russell?
Yeah?
That first name, is it Alfred or Albert?
I think it's Albert. He's some kind of a promoter. I don't know what he promotes. I think it's just a dodge, kind of a front.
I'll be right back.
All right. Let's go ahead with the story about the buy, huh?
All right. Where was I?
You said you went out to Westwood.
Oh, yeah. Well, we were supposed to meet out in the parking lot by the ice rink. Big place out there. Well, we met this guy, the fellow Payne called it. He looked at the stuff, said it was worth maybe $15,000 the way it was. But he said it'd have to be broken down before it could be sold. And it wouldn't bring that much when it was all broken down.
What'd Al say to that?
Well, he agreed to it, said it was true. He went right along with it. Lousy deal. He was probably in on the whole thing.
Wouldn't be surprised.
I just can't get over it. We had all that stuff and didn't know what it was worth.
You got any idea who this guy is?
No, I told you I didn't know.
You said this Payne had an office here in town. You know where it is?
Yeah, I can show you. We were up there this afternoon while I was setting up the deal. It's in a building over on 6th.
You'd be willing to go over there with us?
So you can nail him?
That's right. We want to get the jewels back.
Sure, I'll go. So what that bum did to me, nothing too bad for him.
How are you going to work it, Joe?
Well, Russell here will have to introduce me as somebody who wants to buy this stuff. He'll have to tell Payne that I'm willing to pay, say, $50,000 for the jewelry. That way, Payne will have to get in touch with the other man. I don't think he'll pass up a deal like that.
Maybe he figures to make more than that this way.
Yeah, but suppose he thinks that Russell here wants to do business with me. He'll get the stuff back. I don't think he'll want to cross Russell.
Might work.
No, we haven't got much choice. We got to get the stuff back before it's broken up.
Joe, I got some pictures here. None of them match the description.
What was that?
None of them match the description.
Oh. You want to look at these?
Yeah.
Joe's going to go see this Payne with Russell and Ellis, try to get a lead on where the stuff is.
How are you going to work it?
Well, I'll tell Payne I'm interested in buying the jewels, offer him maybe $50,000.
Picture's not here. None of these is Payne.
You go along with this plan, Russell?
Sure. I'd like to see you get him and get him good.
It's pretty risky.
It doesn't look like there's any other way.
Suppose not. Russell?
Yeah?
We know Payne carries a gun. I'm going to tell you something. I want you to remember it.
All right.
You get any bright ideas about tipping Payne off about Joe, remember, we'll have men all through the building.
All right.
We're not going to start any shooting.
Yeah.
But we'll finish it.
are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action.
Chesterfield is best for you. Just listen to the record.
For a full year and 2 months, a doctor has been making regular examinations of a group of Chesterfield smokers, and he reports no adverse effects to the nose, throat, and sinuses from smoking Chesterfields.
Don't you want to try a cigarette with a record like this? Chesterfield. First with premium quality in both regular and king size. Chesterfield. First choice with Young America. And that's from a survey of 274 colleges and universities. Try Chesterfields today. Remember, Chesterfield is America's best cigarette buy.
The two suspects, Peter Ellis and Virgil Russell, were taken to the main jail and booked in for violation of Section 211 of the California Penal Code. After that, the officers from San Diego, Frank and I, discussed the plan for finding the stolen jewels. It was agreed that I would go into the office building with the suspect, Virgil Russell. To lessen the chances of discovery, I would carry no gun or any police identification. We were unable to make contact that night, so the following morning, we checked over the physical layout of the building. It was 6 stories high and had 1 elevator. There were 2 entrances to the building, one in the front and one that opened off an alley in the rear. Officers were planted at both entrances. Additional men were stationed on each floor. 2 men were on the roof to cut off any possible escape to one of the adjoining buildings. 11:30 a.m. Tuesday, October 6th. Russell called Payne and said that he wanted to see him. Payne told him to come right over to the office. Russell and I got into a car and we drove over. It had been arranged that from the time we entered the building, no one would be permitted to leave until we returned to the main entrance. 11:58 a.m. We got to the office building. We went up to the 4th floor. The sign on Payne's door read, Albert Payne, Investments. Russell opened the door and we walked in.
Hi, Verge. What's the bit?
Al, like you to meet Joe Ferguson.
Joe, glad to meet you.
Yeah, same here, Al.
Sit down, boys. Now, what's this all about?
It's about the stuff, Al. We got to get it back.
Now, what's the pitch? I don't even know what you're talking about.
Oh, come off it, Payne. Joe here's willing to up the ante for the jewels.
How much?
I'll go as high as $50,000. I got to see it first.
For $15,000 worth of jewels?
Papers say it's worth $135.
I explained that to you. They up the value. It's all insured. People up the price of the insurance companies. Papers up the price. They sell more papers. I told you.
Yeah, and I ain't buying it. I want the stuff back. I never even got my cut of the $7,000. Ellis feels the same way.
I told you the money'd be coming.
Well, it ain't coming anymore. I want the stuff back.
I don't think we can do that. Most of it's already broken up.
No, not much of it could be broken up in the time that he's had it.
Guy that bought it isn't going to like it.
Well, that's tough. You just tell him to stop breaking it up. Tell him we want it back.
Where do you figure to sell the jewels?
I don't see where that concerns you. I'm offering you $50,000 for them. That's all you need to know.
Come on, Al. Come on. Quit playing games. Let's get on it. You get in touch with the guy you gave them to and get the jewels back.
Wait a minute, I got something to say about this. I was in on the job with you. Don't you forget it.
I'm only going to say this once more, Payne. You get on that phone and get in touch with your contact. Tell him to stop breaking them up. You set up a meet to get the stuff back.
I'll call him. I don't think it's going to do any good. He's probably got all the mountings melted down by this time. Got it all broken up.
You call him. Let's see what happens.
All right. Now, let me talk to Fred. Fred, this is Al. Yeah. Listen, something's come up. We can't go through with the deal. What? Yeah, I know. I told him. Doesn't make any difference. They want it all back. Yeah, I told him that, too. Doesn't make any difference. You want the jewels back that have been broken down, too?
I told you, Al. I want all of it back.
Yeah. Yeah, Freddie says all of it. Okay. And when can you make it? Yeah. All right. Yeah, we'll see you then, right. Okay, bye. They'll have the stuff for you tomorrow night.
Why does he have to wait that long?
How do I know? He just said he couldn't get it to you any sooner.
You should have let me talk to him. I'd have told him.
Yeah, sure.
How much of it's been broken up?
Well, hardly any. Just got started. Fred says it's almost all whole.
Who is this Fred?
That's none of your business.
I asked you a question, Al.
You got your answer. Doesn't make any difference who he is. You and your friends lost up the deal. Be happy. You fixed it fine.
Well, I'll come out better.
Yeah, you better be right. Now, remember, I got a piece of this.
I won't forget. What time tomorrow are we going to meet Fred?
Well, he said he'd call. Let me know where and when.
Well, it can't be any later than tomorrow. I gotta be leaving then.
You're going to have the money with you when you pick up the stuff.
I'll have it.
All of it. I don't want any of this down payment.
I told you I'd have it.
All right, you call me tomorrow about 10, Verge. I'll let you know the details then.
Okay.
I hope you're right about this, Verge.
What do you mean?
Well, this deal, I don't like it. I hope nothing happens to louse it up.
Yeah, so do I. Virgil, Russell, and I left the office and went downstairs. We checked with Frank, Carl Davis, and the other officers from San Diego. Al Payne was taken into custody and booked in at the main jail on suspicion of violation of Section 211 PC. Then we returned to the office.
You find out who has the stuff?
Yeah, a fellow named Fred.
You know who he is?
No, not yet, but we will.
How'd you figure that? Payne didn't tell you.
Well, I saw the number he dialed when he called Fred. It was a Hollywood prefix. That narrows down the area. I can try the number and see who answers. Oh, I'm sorry. I got the wrong number. Excuse me.
Did you get it?
Yeah. It's the Kingery Trophy Company. You want to check the book?
Right. K-I, King, Kincaid. Here it is, Joe. Kingery Trophy Company. It's on Las Palmas.
Trophy Company. That'd give him a chance to melt the mountings down to metal, wouldn't it? Be easier to get rid of it that way.
Makes sense. What do you figure to move in on?
Right now. We can drive out and check the place now, look it over, then we'll go in and get them.
What happens with me?
We got to take you back to main jail.
After the help I gave
That's the way it's got to be. You knew that going in.
Yeah, I suppose so. Well, you tell the DA I helped, though, huh?
Yeah, we'll see he knows about it.
Sure a bad deal all the way around. Real bad deal. I should have known I couldn't win. Right from the start, I should have known. Nobody can win.
Well, still a lot of people trying. We returned Virgil Russell to his cell, and then we drove out to the Kingery Trophy Company. It was a two-story building on Las Palmas Avenue in Hollywood. They made trophies and fraternity pins. A large sign on the front of the building advertised that they could duplicate anything in metal. We checked with the neighborhood merchants and found that there was a permanent staff of 4 employees. The company was owned by a Roger Kingery, and none of the neighborhood people could tell us anything about an employee by the name of Fred. 5 p.m. The employees of the plant left the building. 1 man remained. From the description we'd gotten from Russell, we figured that he was the person Payne had called Fred. 6:03 p.m. The lights in the rear of the factory went on, and through the windows we could see the suspect working over a small furnace. On a table off to one side, we could see a quantity of jewelry. Frank, Carl, and I went to the side door of the plant while the other officers covered the remaining doors. All right, you ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Carl?
Yeah.
I'll hit the door and grab him before he's got the chance to throw the jewelry into the furnace.
Right.
Grab him, Carl. He's making a break for it.
I got it. Hey, what are you guys doing breaking in here like this?
Look at that, Joe. Jewelry matches the description of the stolen stuff.
Yeah, looks like it.
All right, mister, stand still.
I'll shake him. He's clean.
I don't know what you guys are doing. I don't know what this is all about.
All right, save it. What's this jewelry doing here?
Now, this isn't mine.
I didn't ask you whose it was. I asked you what it was doing here.
Fellas say give me $2,500 if I break it down for him.
What's the fellow's name?
Guy named Payne said he'd pay me to melt it down for him.
You know the stuff was stolen?
No, I didn't. He just made the deal to melt it down.
Didn't he call you this afternoon and tell you to stop breaking it up?
Yeah, and then he called back and told me not to pay attention to what he said. Go ahead with the job. I did like he said.
Who else is in this with you?
What do you mean?
Who else here at the factory?
Nobody. I'm the only one. I only did it because I needed the money. I don't know where the jewels came from. I didn't care. It didn't make no difference to me. As long as I got mine, I was happy. I didn't know what it was all about.
Looks like most of it's here, Joe.
How many pieces did you break down?
Took a couple of the pins apart. Didn't have the time to melt any of the mounting down. It's all there. All that Payne gave me.
What's your name?
Fred Michelson.
All right, let's go.
I didn't know they were stolen. I didn't know anything about it. I just did a job. That's all. Just a job.
Yeah.
I didn't even get paid for it.
Don't worry about it. You will.
The story you have just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent. On February 18th, trial was held in Department 89, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of San Diego. In a moment, the results of that trial.
And now, here is our star, Jack Webb.
Thank you, George Fenneman. I want to thank all of you for your interest in Dragnet. Thanks very much for your letters. We really appreciate them, and we'll try to keep right on giving you the kind of a show that you like. I want to thank all of you, too, who have switched to Chesterfield. I know you're going to like them, and I know you'll find they're best for you. Now, you folks who haven't tried Chesterfields, I'd like you to pick up a carton tomorrow. Chesterfield. It's a great smoke.
Virgil Nathan Russell, Peter Howard Ellis, and Albert Franklin Payne were tried and convicted of robbery in the first degree. They received sentence as prescribed by law. Fred George Michelson was tried and found guilty of receiving stolen property. He received sentence as prescribed by law. Receiving stolen property is punishable by imprisonment in the state penitentiary for a period of not more than 10 years.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lieutenant Jack Allen, Los Angeles Police Department.
Thank you. On behalf of the Detroit Police Officers Association, I'd like to present this award to Dragnet. I wonder if you'd read it, Mr. Fenneman.
Yes, sir. Whereas the radio and television show Dragnet and its writers, producers, and actors most accurately portray the American police officers and their work. And whereas the result of this portrayal has been to give the people of this country a new insight into their police departments, bringing with it understanding, sympathy, and an aroused public opinion. And whereas Dragnet brings credit to the men and women of the police forces throughout America, therefore we, the Detroit Police Officers Association, representing the patrolmen, detectives, and policewomen of Detroit, hereby cite and commend the show Dragnet and its star Jack Webb, who plays the part of Detective Sergeant Friday, as the finest and most accurate police program both on television and radio. Signed this date, March 31st, 1953, in behalf of the association by Thomas Duffy, President, Bruce Finney, Vice President, Francis Klein, Secretary-Treasurer.
All of us on Dragnet want to thank the Detroit Police Officers Association, and our thanks to you, Lieutenant Allen.
You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department. Technical advisors, Captain Jack Donahoe, Sergeant Marty Wynn, Sergeant Vance Brasher. Heard tonight were Ben Alexander, Eddie Firestone, Art Gilmore. Script by John Robinson. Music by Walter Schumann. Hal Gibney speaking.
For a million laughs, tune in Chesterfield's Martin and Lewis show Tuesday on this same NBC station. And sound off for Chesterfield's. Either regular or king size, you'll find premium quality Chesterfield's much milder. Chesterfield is best for you.
Chesterfield has brought you Dragnet, transcribed from Los Angeles.